Welcome to Ship Chasing. When Pete's here, he likes to say the show waits for no one. The show does wait for someone when he's not here. That someone is me. My internet is already a disaster, but this is gonna be a good show here. We got Ben Gretsch, we got Erik Beimfohr. What's up, guys?
We got the frozen screen in the pre-show. Pat didn't want to go live until the screen stopped freezing.
Yeah,
you look like a pixelated version of yourself too, just like froze. It was like a original Super Mario Brothers. It's kind of like what you look like there. I thought that's actually like
it was a huge smile too when he was looking up. It was like the Step Brothers thing.
I wish we had that.
Where they're like, I was like, man, I wish this was recording. It was beautiful.
Damn. All right. Well, my internet may cooperate again, so if I'm smiling up at the corner, you'll know why. I'm trying to recapture the magic. But we're gonna talk about the craziness in the NFL this week. We're gonna talk about the Superflex format over on Underdog to one of those drafts. But before we do that, Ben, do you want to catch us up on what happened with Omni? I hear there was a big soccer upset.
Yeah, no, I mean, I took PSG in 2 leagues of my 5 leagues, two of my money leagues. Pretty stoked. They were up 2-0 on the aggregate into the second half, and then Real got 3 straight goals and upset them. So, yeah, PSG's done. We'll get no Omni points. Real is one of the first 4 teams that have locked in some points for the various tournaments we did. For a little update on that, the Ship Chasing Cup, we got those 3 leagues finished. The Omni Cup, we got all 12 of those finished. Those all got in under the wire. There was 3 that finished yesterday morning, the morning of the first games. A couple of yours and Pete's leagues in the Ship Chasing Cup went through those games into last night, but everything was done by yesterday. I am going to send out an email soon enough to the larger Omni Cup, which Beimfohr's in. So people are talking about it in the chat. People are asking about a way to view other leagues. Definitely, we're going to set some type of overall leaderboard page up. I'm also going to send an email this week, and I'm going to include the links to all the leagues. So you guys will have those if you want to check out other leagues. Probably tomorrow I'll send it. I was just kind of busy today. We were doing the drafts through yesterday. And then I probably not going to be sending out a whole bunch of emails. So for anyone who's actually really interested in this and has not signed up for the OmniFantasy Substack, omnifantasy.substack.com, that's where most of the emails are going to come with any kind of updates on OmniFantasy in the future. So get subscribed to that.
Awesome. All right. Question in the chat here about rookie wide receivers. I had to promise Erik we wouldn't talk about Sky Moore for him to come on tonight, so I don't want to dive into the rookie wide receivers here. But
I do.
I am going to have a show tomorrow with Davis Maddock, Matthew Friedman, and Anthony Miko on NBC. We're doing podcasts on the rookie wide receiver class. So the answer is no to this question. Do I care about Burks 40 time? I really don't. I think it's fine at 225, but we're going to dive into the rookie wide receivers there. If you want to talk rookie wide receivers, Erik, happy to do it, but weren't sure where you're at on that.
Listen, I love to play both sides of this fence. I love to play everybody is trying to be an NFL scout, and I love to shit on them, right? Shit post on Twitter and like make fun of everybody that's doing the NFL scouting thing. But I also love to get my hand in the dirt. Like I literally on Saturdays, my wife probably hates me during football season. Like Saturdays and Sundays, like I sit on the couch and I watch college football all day, and then I watch NFL all day on.
I don't know how Sunday. You get away with that, man. My Saturday's wide open.
She's a saint. She's literally a saint. I have to dedicate like a couple of weekends to where like away from it. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how I'm still married. I'll be totally honest.
But I mean, I'm that way on Sundays, but this is why
Sunday,
I don't watch a lot of college football. I catch a couple games, but like not much.
So I watch a ton of college football, and so I have my takes too, right? I have my takes about Treylon Burks. I have my takes about all of these guys because I've watched a lot of college football. Same like I grind college football DFS, and so that just naturally makes you want to get some action on Wednesdays or Tuesdays or Thursday. You want to watch the MAC games, right? Like so you just watch all of those games. And so I have all of my takes too. It's just weighing that right between what really matters for like fantasy football and specifically best ball, right, where I'm focused and where we'll draft later, is like we can get our hand in the dirt as much as we want, as get our scout takes and stuff. But like at the end of the day, most of our takes don't really matter, and so it's like it's this constant.
But what is your take on Burks? You think he's good?
Yeah, he's good. I don't have any doubts that he's good. Exactly how the dogs think he's good too. Exactly how good he'll be like in the NFL. It's tough for me. I'm interested. I'm glad this question came up because Jesus Christ, they are going absolutely apeshit right next to them. But so college football is so different than the NFL game. And when you're Arkansas and you have a dude like Treylon Burks, who is very clearly one of the better wide receivers in the game, and you're like outclassed on offense, I struggle with weighing that. Like they're just getting him the football because he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus Ohio State, Jameson Williams is my favorite wide receiver in this class. And he left Ohio State because he couldn't get on the field his first year. You know what I mean? So you have the Olave, Wilson, right? JSN next year. Like balancing all of that is the thing that I struggle with, not like having takes on is this guy good or not? Because I listen to people like you and other people, and obviously I have my own takes. But that balancing act, how do you guys like handle that? You know,
I think that's one of the biggest things in trying to figure out with these wide receivers if they're good. It's that teammate adjustment or kind of like the bad team adjustment. I think one of the things that I look at a lot is yards per route run. And apologies for my glitchy video right now, but I think with Garrett Wilson, for example, doesn't have the production we like love. He kind of checks all the boxes production wise, but it's not off the charts. But just incredible efficiency. And that's something that you saw with T. Higgins. That's something you saw with Jalen Waddle. I think it's something that's like becoming a bigger part of the evaluation process because you are seeing kind of these clusters of wide receivers that are all at the same school. And you do have to figure out like T. Higgins wasn't not getting on the field because he wasn't good. You know what I mean? T. Higgins in a different school would have had a massive market share. T. Higgins, when he was on the field, was absolutely incredible, hyper efficient. But like Clemson didn't really need him to be that guy. So I think
Waddle's
another example.
Waddle was the fourth best wide receiver on Alabama as a freshman. And if you compare him to a kid who went, Sky, I'm not comparing him to Sky Moore, but Sky Moore is naturally going to break out earlier because he's at a school that, doesn't have Devonta Smith and Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy on it.
Right, exactly. And Jalen Waddle's yards per route run off the charts. Like when he was on the field as a freshman, incredible. He also dealt with an injury in his final season, so he has a shortened final season where his career would have looked much stronger production wise because he was playing very well in his final season. I think Jalen Waddle's an awesome example. I think with Burks, my read on Burks is that like you want to talk about the efficiency, his yards per route run was 3 times higher than the teammate average at Arkansas. So it's not like he was, just kind of getting fed targets and doing pretty good, but not great. He was just his yards after catch were off the charts. He was just dominant. He was just truly dominant. And I don't think, I think that'll translate. You do see he was used out of the slot mostly. He did get a lot of it. He had 20% of his yards coming on screens, which is the same rate as N'Keal Harry. And Laviska Shenault was also incredibly efficient in yards per route run. So you do have that. That's not necessarily going to guarantee anything that the guy was efficient. But Burks also had a deeper ADOT than Shenault. I don't think he's going to be, quite as reliant on like scheme stuff. But it's definitely a concern. I think that's the kind of the key thing to parse right now.
To your question, Eric, about like how to balance some of those like film takes and things you were saying, I think I would say for me, as an analyst over the course of the years that I've done this, I mean, I think I've always been someone who's tried to pay a lot of attention to like additional context and layers of information. But the further along that I get and the more years that I do this, the more that I'm certain that there's no one size fits all for anything. And I think everyone that I see who starts out in fantasy wants to find a stat. I wanted to do this when I was starting out, wants to find a stat or some type of analysis that's going to solve every question. And I think the biggest thing that my answer to like your question, the biggest thing that I like try to drive home and I think about all the time is like it's I don't try to balance it. I throw all of that in the pot. Like if it's even just one more little thing, I'm throwing it in the pot. If there's, I don't think injuries are that significant, and I try really hard not to be biased on certain stuff. But like if a dude like legit looks like he has a serious injury problem, he's constantly getting hurt, and they're like the types of recurring injuries that then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to throw this in the pot. This is one more risk factor for this person. Obviously I'm going to be way more on the production side, but like Pat was just saying in the chat, doesn't really care about 40 unless it's like super bad. Like if a guy was really productive, but then all of a sudden he's like an outlier bad athletically, like that's going to be a problem probably. Like we're going to have to throw it in the pot. Like maybe this guy just can't play at the next level from a physical standpoint. But even if it's something that I don't care about, like I'm going to check it and make sure that I don't care about it. It's not like a huge outlier or there's something significant in respect to that guy. So the more and more broad point I was trying to make is like the more and more I do things in this industry and the more guys that I see with different profiles hit or not hit. I mean, a lot of it, is a variance and there's some luck to it. But for me, a lot of it is just like you got to recognize every player is independent, and like the thing that's going to be the specific thing that drives home whether that guy works or not. I mean, like the big thing right now is who's the next Debo. Well, like nobody wanted to envision Debo 2021 last offseason. Everyone was saying he can't get any downfield work. He doesn't have the right type of usage. We talked a lot on here. Pat, you had that awesome stat last year about how he was one of the few receivers to have a 2.0 or better yards per hour in his first 2 seasons. We talked about ship chasing him several times, and we took him everywhere. And we weren't really trying to predict his usage. We're basically just like, this guy's too good to be going in the range that he is. Yeah. Especially when you can do cost adjustment, you're like, this guy's just too good to go where he is. I don't know that we were necessarily predicting anything close to what he did or getting those air yards or whatever. And now it's like,
I had no idea how he was going to do it.
Right. And now it's like, who's the next Debo? And it's like, well, we didn't see the last Debo coming. And what Debo just did is something like we've never really seen. You know what I mean? Like people want to compare it to Percy Harvin. I don't even think it's that similar to Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin was different. Anyway, it's every player.
It's more similar to like Christian McCaffrey than Percy Harvin. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
it might be.
Yeah.
I think two things that from what you said, Ben. The first is the Debo thing is so perfect because and it aligned with everything that you were saying, where people just want to have something to work off of, right? Give me something that has happened that I can latch onto and say, this is the reason why this guy is good, or this is the comp, right? The Debo thing is like, I need a comp for this player. And there was no comp for Debo, right? He was this weird archetype of a player that we have basically never seen before. Christian McCaffrey is the same way. And there's tons of them, right? I mean, there was no comp for Calvin Johnson.
There's no comps for anybody.
There isn't.
Yeah, there's no comps for anyone.
The issue with comps, even when there are good ones, this is the other. And sorry to cut off your point, Eric, but the thing
fine.
that I always think about with comps or have learned, this is like part of this point. It ties in so well. The ones that are similar, whether they hit or fail, is like sort of hard to tell why. And like I think one of the examples I would use is like Keenan Allen. Not very athletic. Great production profile, but not very athletic. Not particularly huge. Doesn't do a ton after the catch. Low ADOT. Doesn't rack up air yards. Why is that guy an elite receiver? Well, I mean, I think you can actually say it statistically. It's because his targets per out run is so elite. He's just that good of a route runner. Like he has that trait.
Fucking open. He knows how to get open.
Good at running routes. He's a top 3 guy at running routes, and so that's his trump card. But most guys that you would comp to Keenan Allen are probably not good bets. I mean, other than the fact that he had the massive production profile, which was part of how good.
Well, that's the other thing is that if I'm comping a guy to Keenan Allen, it's because he came out early. He's like a day 2 pick type. He was very productive. He's like roughly the same build, and he has a chance of kind of being a guy who plays in the slot and on the outside. He's like sort of like versatile in that way. That's like how I would comp someone to Keenan Allen. It wouldn't be because he was a great route runner necessarily. So there's also but
the real comp is the route running. Like from a true on the field comp, it's the route running. But
and he might be unique in that regard.
But we can't. But we also can't truly like actually make that comp. You know what I mean? Like that's too difficult of a comp to make with all the context of college football.
We don't have data for that.
Yeah, there's no way for us to exactly. That would be just someone saying like, and this is all subjective, right? There's a scout that says this guy runs routes like Keenan Allen, and like maybe he's right, but how do we actually know that? We don't know. But the comp is the route running and getting open. Yeah. The production is, of course, something that maybe is an indicator, but it's just an example of how difficult that whole process is. I think.
So I was just gonna say Metcalf is a dude that I think a lot of people think hit just because he's such a good athlete, essentially. His production profile wasn't really incredible in college. Obviously played with A.J. Brown. There's a huge part of it, right?
He also had a guy.
I think it was Maddock recently that brought up Dorial Green Beckham as like, and so my point is like, even they were like similar guys, right? As prospects, Pat, you would know better than me, but like they're both really good athletes, and maybe DGB wasn't quite as good.
I think Metcalf is a stronger prospect.
Yeah,
DGB had like off the field stuff.
Right, but so that's the point I'm trying to make is like it can be off the field stuff even that makes him fit, right? Like even within that comp, even if there is a comp, I don't know that the comp's useful because I think for almost every type of player, there's like guys that have hit and guys that have failed, and there's a sliding scale, and it's like, what part of this massive group of this potpourri of things that we're throwing in? What was the one that made this guy hit or made this guy not hit?
I have an article coming out. Part one
on comps. On comps,
tomorrow.
You're comping every prospect,
and I'm comping the prospects to like 5 or 6 different wide receivers. Because I think it's useful in that way, and I think people want them. And when I'm thinking about them, I'm like, how does George Pickens fail? It's like, well, what if he's Justin Hunter? What if he's a really skinny downfield guy who, isn't actually that fast? He ran a 4.47. I know he's coming off an ACL tear. Maybe he's much faster than that, but that's another red flag, right? You got to hope that there's more there. Obviously didn't do much. Didn't even run very many routes this season. So I'm basically throwing that out, but there's questions. So it's like, well, who has failed that looks like this guy? Who has succeeded that looks like this guy? He kind of looks like Terrace Marshall. He kind of looks like Sidney Rice which is kind of a medium comp. Kind of looks a little like CeeDee Lamb in some ways. So I kind of throw out a bunch of guys as how.
Yeah, that's a great way of doing it. I love Casey's comment. He says, so basically Sky Moore is Sterling Shepard. Got it. Which I mean, it's just funny in its own right. But also my question would be, is that meant to be a positive or a negative? Because
exactly.
Was Sterling Shepard a hit or did he just get hurt a lot? Like he's had some positive traits,
I think Sterling Shepard's good. I think Sterling Shepard's pretty good.
Yeah, Sterling Shepard's a good outcome. People compare people to Davante Adams, and it's like, which part of his career? The part where like people gave up on him in Dynasty and made fun of people for drafting him, or the part where he's the best wide receiver
round pick? Yeah, in redraft, he was like a 17th, 19th round pick by year 3. He was undrafted in tons of leagues, and that's when he broke out year 3. He was
year 3.
Everyone thought he was the worst player in the NFL.
Tyler Boyd, I put somewhere. I think I comped Sky. Yeah, one of the Sky Moore comps I used Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd was left for dead after his second year. So Sean Siegel's the only guy drafting him. Of course.
Yes, both of those guys, Adams and Tyler Boyd, still was on them.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. There's a bunch of questions here about like Lockett and stuff. Let me get your guys' thoughts on this. Unless you have any more prospect take. Actually, Eric, do you have any guys that jumped out to you? I didn't get any of your. Give me those takes.
So I was going to bring up a guy who I was originally on that I'm now like really backing off, which is frustrating. But it was a running back, and it was Kyron Williams. I was pretty excited for. I was really excited for Kyron Williams. The production is definitely there, and then the way the archetype of production is really like a lot more of what I like to look at, and particularly at running back, right? So we talk about in fantasy all the time, like, is he going to play pass downs, right? We did the Antonio Gibson thing last year, right? How many times did we talk about Antonio Gibson? We're like, he just needs to get on the field on passing downs, right? He needs to play third down. He needs to steal from J.D. McKissic. Well, how do you do that? You're A, good receiver, which Gibson had, and B, they trust you in pass protection, right? That's the thing that fantasy people always overlook is like Joe Mixon. Why did Joe Mixon never? And Joe Mixon still doesn't always get on the field on third downs. Why? Because he's not a good pass protector. And we can say that doesn't matter as much. Like we can tweet about it and tilt about it as much as we want, but NFL teams care about it. And so I like to look at that kind of thing. And Kyron Williams, for as small and unathletic as he is a badass pass protector. Like he's really good at it, and he's an excellent receiver. Like he's very good in the passing game. And so like all the production and those skills were a thing that I was like, holy shit. Like if this dude lands in the right spot, we're getting a guy that has every skill that we're looking for in fantasy to give us some upside in a late round pick. And then he goes to the freaking combine and runs like I would out there, you know, and jumps like I would. And it's like,
a great example of like all those things you said matter, but maybe his athleticism is just not there. You know, like maybe that's the defining trait. It's hard.
Which sucks because I was excited for him, and I'm much less. I was actually hitting him a lot in super early underdog drafts, and I've really backed off. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he gets early draft capital, and some team says that they don't care, then it's different. But right now, I'm kind of backing off. The other guy, I mentioned Jameson Williams. That's my guy. I think if Jameson Williams didn't tear his ACL, this wide receiver class would be viewed a little bit differently. I think. The Ohio State thing is being held against him a little bit when he was behind a bunch of other first-round picks, and he was the youngest of them all. And sometimes that's just how it goes in college, right? Justin Fields transferred. Joe Burrow transferred. It happens. That's just what happens. And I think that's being held against him a little bit. And then he went to Alabama, equally as strong, probably stronger program, definitely stronger competition, and was obviously not Devontae Smith, but he was basically their version of Devontae Smith this year. And from an athleticism standpoint, he's a little small, right? I think he was 179 at the combine,
but he was 179. Yeah.
I personally don't really care about that. Like, dude, I could put on 5 pounds while we're on the show if I really wanted to, like that. If he really wants to gain some weight, like it's not that big of a deal. And so I'm not really that worried about the weight thing.
That's not the way we want him to gain. That just starts taking his 40 time back.
Listen, please don't try to shit on my point. If you would like for me to prove it to you that I can gain,
we believe you. We just don't know that it'll help you play football.
We need to muscle man.
It definitely won't help. I mean, I couldn't play. I can't even total side story. I like sprained my ankle and hurt my back walking my dog the other day. So if that tells you about how broken down my body is from all my years. But anyway, Jameson Williams is the guy that I think some of those things that we might hold against, like if Sky Moore, if it happened to Sky Moore, we would hold that against him. But we're holding it against Jameson Williams when all he did was the best program in the country was like, Ohio State doesn't want him. Yeah, I'll take him. And then all he did was absolutely light up the SEC. And then just
I love that point because I love that point because you have to assume the Ohio State coaches were rational to make. You know, we always talk about like the assumption of rational coaching and everything, and even at the NFL level, right? Are they smart enough to play the right guys? Like, yeah, like if a guy's good enough, he should work his way onto the field. But this is a situation where there are 4 really good receivers that we're talking about. So someone's going to be the odd man out. And like, were they going to make the right decision? I don't know. You'd have to assume that they would to assume that matters. The counterpoint is what you just said. Nick Saban said, wait, he's available. We're going to bring him in and we're going to make him a star on our team immediately. So there's kind of a pretty quick counterbalance there. And I actually trust Nick Saban more. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, well, Nick Saban was like pumped that this dude was available, got him to transfer, and then played him. I'm going to assume that Ohio State made a mistake.
I think it's a minor red flag because, I mean, it's not like they didn't have awesome production from the wide receiver position this past year as well.
Sure.
Smith and Jigba, who is a year younger than Williams, and then Wilson's in the same college year. Olave obviously a year ahead, but it's not like ideal that he had to transfer to get on the field. But it's also not a huge deal to me. I mean,
growth isn't linear though either. You know what I mean? Like we talk about that in the NFL too, where like he was 18 or 19 or whatever. Like sometimes that shit happens, you know? And
and then he has an incredible year for Alabama and a nice big sample too. That's one thing I like about him is that we got 15 games. So even though that's the only season they did anything, it's a pretty long college season. I mean, like some of the college seasons you're looking at are like 8 or 9 games. So you got almost 2 years out of him in that 1 year in a sense. You got a big sample in that 1 year. So that's good. The ACL thing, man, just from like the way I know these dynasty markets work, it does scare me because okay, so like, how does this actually play out? Like, when does he get on the field? And then is he good? You know, like we just saw George Pickens, he gets on the field. His ACL tear was in March, so 3 months later. But, you know, he basically, I think he ran like a total of 32 routes in all of 2021. Like they just got him out there to show that he was healthy enough to declare for the draft, basically. So, if we get like 4 or 5 games from a healthy Williams, and maybe, I don't know, maybe he's not even fully healthy. He won't be a year removed from his ACL tear by the time he plays. So, is this the time to draft him, or do you wait until the discounts roll in next year?
Yeah, that's probably right. You know that stuff better than anyone.
That's what I was actually. I'm happy you brought that up because I was literally earlier today looking at my longest running like dynasty team, which I've turned into a monster somehow, largely listening to you, Pat. And I have multiple first round picks, and I'm like trying to think. Jameson, as I've obviously communicated, is one of my guys, and like figuring out how to appropriately value him is like a big deal because I want him, but like, how do you value him from that sense? And then just my take from a best ball perspective, I'm just going to toss this in. I care a little bit less. Maybe that sounds silly, but we just did the comp thing and I'm about to comp him to someone. But like when you draft a guy super late, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what he does to start the year, but you're betting on him to win you a best ball tournament, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't provide you shit for like 10 weeks. At least, but he was the rookie that ascended. Now the Jameson Williams ascension would be different, right? It would be like, we need to get you healthy and get you acclimated, but he's a better football player than Amon-Ra St. Brown is.
For sure.
So you're kind of betting on the same thing. Like, let's get acclimated. And then like, dude, it's wheels up week 8 or week 10 or whatever. Maybe he, spikes a couple times before then, but in the playoffs, it's like, he's back ready to roll.
Yeah. In Dynasty drafts, where's he going in the first round in like early ADP? He looks like he's like a late first, right?
I haven't even dug into the Dynasty ADP. I know that I think Matthew Friedman had him as his number 1 wide receiver, or would I'm not sure. I'll talk tomorrow. But people really like him, and I get it. Like in all the stuff I'm looking at, he basically grades as high as everybody else. I mean, I think if he was healthy, I think there would be, to me, a clear top 3 of Burks, Wilson, and Williams, and then I kind of have Drake London like a tick behind those guys. But then with the ACL tear, I have London ahead of Williams, but I still have Williams as my wide receiver 4 in the class, even with that risk. I mean, he's a pretty strong profile.
I mean, I think that that's basically what I was going to say is like, I think the market's sort of adjusting correctly, unless people still have him 1. But like to your question about like, is now the time to get him or later? Like you just don't take him over the guys that have similar profiles that could potentially produce from week 1.
Right. And
then once those guys are off the board in your rookie drafts in the later first or whatever, yeah, you can definitely take Jameson Williams, and it's more of a long-term, you're understanding that you're probably not going to get a value increase in year 1, right? And so like there's still a fair value for him, and it's probably in that range because of the fact that he has an ACL tear. Like it doesn't actually seem that complicated, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Where are you at on Sky Moore, Eric? Are you in?
I'm in the middle. I like to just joke and shit on every guy that you guys talk about and hype up. Now that's my new 2022 bit. Is I'm not buying into the guys that, when you guys are rolling the clip on a guy, that's going to be the guy that I'm going to like make fun of on Twitter. I've pivoted to that instead of like buying in on it, even though I'm still going to draft him. But I'm like in the middle on Sky Moore. I have a little bit of concern on him just because of kind of the way that he has won over the course of his career. If that makes sense, which is both a good thing kind of and a bad thing. I mean, getting open off the line of scrimmage, which is like one of his strongest traits, is like a big deal. Like that's the thing. Like you have to be able to get off the line of scrimmage. Like putting my true hand in the dirt. Like when I was in college, we played press man. We played press man coverage. It's like your entire, like that's how we dictated the defense, was by screwing up timing and getting in the wide receivers, hips and everything. And so when you have a dude that just you can't touch at the line of scrimmage, that's a wildly important trait. However, he doesn't really win in a lot of other ways, which is also like a little bit of a red flag in a small conference, like coming from like they don't play any defense, where right. He comes from. So I'm like kind of in the middle. I totally see the case for him. So he's one of the million guys like in fantasy football where I'm like, I totally see the case for him. I totally see the case against him. I'm not going to make any crazy hard stand against this guy. Like there are guys where I'm absolutely willing to take a hard stand against, and there's guys who I'm going to take, an overweight position to, but he's just kind of the guy where I'm not fading this dude, but I'm not going to go super crazy either.
That makes sense. Where are you at on Drake London? He's kind of a guy.
He's so like hard.
The way
he's a really hard evaluation, I think.
Yeah.
I saw one Dwayne McFarland from PFF. I like to follow him. He always gives some really good insights. He talked about basically London's like inability to win against single man other than like jump balls, other than jump balls, which I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a big aspect of the NFL game. So it's like sometimes we hold that against guys too, right? Like Davante Adams obviously is the example people always jump to on a ton of different things, but he wins by getting open, but he also wins when he's not open.
Right.
Like if you're not open and you can make plays, like Jamar Chase does that. Jamar Chase gets open, of course, but like Joe Burrow just throws him the ball and he goes and gets it. That's actually one of the most valuable skill sets you can have. And London has that like in spades. It's his best skill set. But you do have to win in other ways, right? Like if he could do what Sky Moore could do at the line of scrimmage and from a speed perspective, like, I mean, you have like truly elite prospect, but he can't do that. So that's the thing that I struggle with, is like how to balance these like very clear flaws that someone like London has with the thing that he can do. Like literally right now, Drake London could go catch jump balls in the NFL as good as, literally like basically as good as anybody. And that's my struggle of how do you weigh those things.
Trico out says Vincent Jackson was never open. It's
true.
one of those weird things where Drake London weighing 9 more pounds at the combine than he was listed made me like him a lot more because he's 219, and now I'm like,
he's huge.
Okay, if you're 219, Josh Gordon was 225 when he came in. Like now I can start to see that side of it, where like Vincent Jackson was 241 or something, so that's out. He's not Vincent Jackson unless he's just gonna, have about 5 nights like you're about to have, Eric. Gain a ton of weight.
It is March Madness. I'm going to be on my couch watching a lot of basketball and eating pizza. So,
Mike Evans was 230. So like I don't see. Anyway, I think with London, that's still a little concerning. I think he was 231 even. It's a little like the jump ball stuff. He's like that. He had the same number of contested catches as N'Keal Harry in their final years. You do start to worry about like, does this guy have a translatable skill set? If he's not actually that athletic, I would really like to see his time. I think he's going to work out because his pro day's in April, so I think we're going to get times or at least jumps on him, and that would make me feel better.
Well, he's going to jump. Have you seen he played basketball. He was a
sport. He's a basketball guy. Yeah.
He's like it wasn't a certainty that he was going to be a football player. He just ended up being
that high school
He
dunk
had a
contest. He
spin
did a
dunk, right?
540. I've never
Yes.
seen a 540 dunk before.
Okay, so you're right. His jumps will be fine.
He's a freak. He's a total freak. It's just straight line speed and probably agility. It's that. It's not like pure raw athleticism.
It's not burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake London 540 dunk for anyone who hasn't seen it. High school dunk contest. Ridiculous. The coolest thing I've ever seen.
If one of you guys wants to pull it up, we can show it. I can't.
I love that,
Sam.
We're a half hour in and it's already somebody saying, let's demonetize and pull up another highlight video.
Well, Sam, we're way ahead of you.
I'm pulling it up.
I didn't even see this and we're already doing it.
You haven't seen his
No, I've seen the dunk. I didn't see Sam's comment.
My internet feels like it's being slow too, so if it creps out, we'll just blame Pete for not being here to hold our hands.
While we wait for that, how's the mood in Washington right now? What Gretch? I almost called you Wentz.
Oh, it's not good. I would say my answer to that would be listen to Stealing Bananas if you want my full take, because we did an entire episode on it this morning. I had some thoughts.
On Wentz or on like all the QB movements?
On Russ. He's talking about Washington State.
Oh, yeah.
With Russ leaving.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, no, it's not great. It's not great up here. Oh, we got this up. All right. You guys ready for this?
Oh, baby.
Dunk.
Drake London going to USC.
How does he get the extra 180? Oh my god, that's so sick. Oh, that's a nasty dunk. That's a nasty
dunk. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah. I think he'll be all right.
Actually, I vaguely, do you guys remember there was like a video of Davante Adams dunking, and I think it was like while he was kind of sucking, and it gave me hope. It gave me hope for Davante Adams, and here we are. So the dunks, the dunks are predictive.
Yeah, dude, Drake London's gonna be good. I've decided. I'm
off that clip. Side. Off that clip, that was it.
Off that clip. That clip is the trump card. You got to throw everything in, and the 540 dunk is the trump card for Drake London.
Yeah, Ben did say he'll take anything and throw it in the mix. And that 540 dunk, that's something. That's definitely something. All right, I'm gonna get us going on a draft here in a few minutes.
Let's do it.
Chat.
Can I get you guys' takes? I know Ben, you already talked about it, but Pat, what about your takes on the QB movement or Rodgers' lack of movement?
The Rodgers one, I think the only fallout is Aaron Jones, who was going like way late. I was drafting Jones pretty regularly. I even got him in a final draft. I think in the 4th round still of one of these slow drafts happened to be on the clock. So that to me, I'm like, you know, I imagine that discount will evaporate very quickly. Yeah, already has. And then I think A.J. Dillon's more interesting, but I don't know. I mean, MVS, we don't know if he's going to be back. Lazard,
I don't think he will. I don't think MVS will be back.
Yeah, so there's nothing. I mean, Davante Adams wasn't at a huge discount, so there's really no impact. And then the Denver guys were maybe like slightly juiced for the Green Bay thing, but now their prices are going to come up more. So, I think to me, I kind of want on the Denver guys. I want Judy first, but if there's like a 2-round discount, I'll take Sutton there happily. I think Albert O will probably be too expensive at some point, but I think he'll be a value for the time being until we ruin it.
We're definitely going to ruin it.
We're definitely going to ruin it. Oh, we're going to ruin it so bad. Wait for that. It'll be a 7th round pick by August. Javonte Williams, I think, has a shot to be like the 105. So I think taking him, like, I guess my take on the Denver stuff was like buy now because it's only going to get more expensive. Like, even though it feels like, everyone got good deals.
Right after the end of the season, Beimfohr had the tweet where he would take Javonte 102. But which running backs would you take over him right now? I mean, I don't know that there are men like
JT
Taylor,
and CMC.
That's it.
That's it.
Swift?
He's my one. I made him my 103.
No,
I'm not
taking
taking any of the
Or my
25,
RB3.
26, 27-year-olds.
Your RB3,
I'm not
yeah.
doing it.
RB3. Yeah. Cooper Kupp goes ahead. I put.
Yeah.
Cooper
I would
Kupp
take Chase ahead of him.
and Devontae.
I would take
Chase,
Justin Jefferson ahead of him.
So
Sure,
the
some of those
question becomes the wide receivers
But
versus
like
him.
on the
But
running
not
back
the running
list,
backs, not
the
running
25, 26, 27-year-olds, the Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara group. Obviously, Kamara's got other stuff going on, but like I don't think I'm taking those dudes over a second-year back that has what Williams might have ahead of him.
No,
I do like Dalvin Cook, but at the same time, I mean, the ceiling's higher for Javonte, I think, just like the pure ceiling. But Melvin Gordon could be back, so
Najee, I'm taking Javonte over Najee, dude.
same.
I already am. I was like, we did a Spaces, and I was like concocting this off season where the Steelers get like Mariota as a bridge quarterback, and then they draft Malik Willis, and Melvin Gordon leaves in free agency. I was like, now are you guys taking Javonte over Harris? Meanwhile, I'm sitting back like, I think I already am. But I just want you guys to see it. Yeah,
Javonte,
is anyone going to make the Najee case? Because I don't want to.
No, I'm not making the volume case over the superstar and a superstar offense. But Javonte, so the difference actually really is not even just like honestly comparing too much about them. What Javonte is to me, now that we 100% know that Russ is there, is like I've stolen this from Ben now for a year or whatever, but small loss, big win, even like as a first round player. How do you? Someone explain to me that.
That's all right. I stole that from Sean.
Literally, even if seriously, if Melvin Gordon comes back, how do you truly like really lose on Javonte? You might lose a little bit, but like he also could just be JT of 2 years ago.
He's right? Miles Sanders.
Right. It just takes it.
I love that point. He's a small loss. Exactly right. I mean,
he's Miles. He could be Miles Sanders. He could be Miles Sanders. You lose if he's Miles Sanders.
No, he's too good of an offense to be Miles Sanders.
He's not
Miles Sanders has been an efficient rusher. Miles Sanders has been a very efficient rusher.
Yeah, but he's.
But how does he have a 0 touchdown outcome?
The offense matters. Yeah, he doesn't have a 0.
Well, I don't know. I'm not predicting that. I mean, come on,
yeah.
you gotta.
But that's how Miles Sanders lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have to say he's not going to score, if you have to say he's not going to score a touchdown to say how you lose, like, well, yes, I agree.
Well, I don't even mean. I just from 2 years ago as well. I mean, what 2 years ago he was basically a bust, and he was going in the 109, 110 range. That's more what I mean.
But why was he a bust? Like he didn't catch enough passes, right?
He didn't catch enough passes. Yeah, and touchdown luck went against him, I think.
Was a really good.
And he got banged up some. He got banged up enough. It was really annoying.
That's the running.
The offense struggled. I mean, the offense could struggle. God, I hate making this case because Russ is going to smash, but it could.
You're making me
possibly struggle in year one. Year one, new offense. Russ hasn't looked the same since mid 2020. I really hope.
I'm really hoping
Javante's going to crush.
I want you to start freezing. I'm hoping your screen freezes.
Yeah. I mean, you're making this case that's hard to make that he's at like a medium loss, but he's not a big loss. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he's actually Miles Sanders. Quite like as much of a disappointment as Miles Sanders was, because I think
2020 Miles Sanders is in the range of outcomes. It has to.
I don't.
28 catches.
All right, well then we should be drafting running backs much more often than we are. If
we should be drafting Javonte Williams.
Well, yeah, I'm saying Javonte Williams is going to have more than 28 catches. He's going to have more scoring opportunities than Sanders had in the Eagles' 2020 offense. At least a little bit more, right? You think
we don't know that Melvin Gordon's gone.
Okay, if Melvin Gordon's back, it's a different discussion. But I thought we were sort of.
I still think, especially now, he's not like the 103 right now, or the 105 or whatever. Right? He's a end of the first round. We'll get into the Superflex.
Yeah,
thing.
I like him there.
He's quite cheap in Superflex because literally the first like 8 picks are quarterbacks in every draft. I just don't. I still struggle, even if Melvin comes back. I still struggle, right? Marlon Mack came back for the Colts.
Different.
I know it's different, but they also had Nyheim Hines. They had 2 guys.
Mack was coming off an Achilles tear. Melvin Gordon was good last year. I mean,
I know, but I just struggle to see, and that is absolute big negative. I just struggled to see the big loss in no matter what the situation. The big loss. There's a loss absolutely in the range. Like he's probably a medium loss.
I've just already decided mentally that Melvin Gordon's coming back, but I'd also decided mentally the Seahawks were not trading Russell Wilson. So take that for what you will.
I don't think Melvin Gordon will be back because this trade kind of changes the calculation. Like
it does.
If he wants any kind of money, he can't go back.
They have 24 million total left or something. I think I saw that on Twitter. They have like 24 million, and they need some upgrades elsewhere. They can't be spending multiple millions of dollars on. I mean, I guess they can, but I think it would be unwise.
It would be unwise.
And people love to. We talked about this in the Spike Week Discord, where people are like, "Well, Melvin said he wants to come back, and they said they want Melvin back." It's like, well, I mean, yes, in a totally ideal scenario, but everybody loves to spend other people's money or like tell other people to take less money. It's like this might be the end for Melvin Gordon, like money wise. So you're going to tell him to take $10 million less?
I'm shocked it's not already the end. He's so clearly at the tail end. Like I can't believe that he's. I mean,
someone's
good for him, but.
Someone's going to give him money.
He's still performing, dude. Melvin Gordon's good at football. Like I had to give that props. I thought he was dust too, and I was like, this whole year I was like, this guy hasn't played a whole lot of 16 game seasons either, and he stayed pretty dang healthy this year too.
He's not
one game.
He's not bad, but I think he's got less in the tank than like James Conner or something.
Yeah, James Conner's like 4 years younger, not 4, but at least 2. Melvin Gordon's like 29. James Conner's like 26, 27.
Right, so this is it.
I wouldn't be paying him a goddamn dime. No. I'm sorry,
No.
Melvin. You're still very good. You're worth nothing to me. I'm sorry.
But that's why he should take. This is it. This is the end of if someone offers him $20 million or whatever. Right? That's an exaggeration. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, right? If somebody,
I think he could get 2 for 15 mil, maybe 2 years for 15 mil. Maybe.
But Denver cannot give him.
They can't give him
15.
Doug makes a good point here, or an interesting point here. He says this is the time of the year you draft Javonte as RB3, and the Broncos re-sign Gordon to F your team all up. The way that I would view this is actually the exact opposite. This is a time of year where, because Javonte might be a consensus RB3.
It's actually the opposite situation.
This is a time of year you can draft Javonte as RB7 for a long time, and then later in the summer he is RB3, and all of your teams have him as the 110. You know, I would love to.
Yeah, Gordon's priced in.
Drafts. I would love to be loading up a Javonte in the back half.
Gordon's priced in. Yeah, or the risk of Gordon is priced in.
The risk is Gordon priced.
Yeah. And I actually think we're gonna know soon.
I would be, as a guy who'd like to draft Javonte because I think he's really good, do I want Melvin Gordon to resign? Because Melvin Gordon's not coming for the job. He's not coming for the job. Let's get real. Like, Melvin Gordon is going to be a 1B who slides into the background over the course of the season, who gets displaced. He's going to be like a Jordan Howard type, to continue my Miles Sanders comp. He's going to eventually get out of the way. Whereas, what if they don't re-sign Melvin Gordon and they draft Rachaad White? Rachaad White looks pretty interesting. He's got a pass-catching skill.
Well, they got Mike Boone.
Different from Javonte Williams. Mike Boone's a power back, so that would suck. You really do not want them to get a guy who's also really good. You know what I mean? Melvin Gordon's not going to be really good this year.
I don't think they would take a Rachaad White. That would not be good, but I would hope they wouldn't do something like that. I mean, maybe if they lose Gordon, they think they need another back. But the way that I would look at it with Gordon coming back is just there is risk because what we saw last year, Gordon just was playing well enough that he didn't really slide away. He wasn't playing bad. I was hoping for him to play bad. I was writing about signals every week. This is annoying as shit. I have Javonte in every team. I can't really say that they should be playing Javonte a ton more. If you have 2 competent backs, I've always said you should probably use them both. That's a smart, real football thing to do. Keep them fresh, whatever, And Gordon was playing competently. And so the risk for me, if he comes back, is just that he plays well enough again to not slide away. Or even then, if Javonte has some struggles, right, then you start to get some 60-40 games Melvin's favor if Melvin's playing well too. That would be in the range of outcomes. I would not expect that the whole season, but it would be in the range of outcomes for a few weeks, and that would obviously impact Javonte's full season line.
Yeah, that's interesting. If I had a team, I think I would. If I was in charge of the Browns, I think I would just have Nick Chubb in there on every snap, and then if he got banged up, I'd have Kareem Hunt in there for like every snap. I'm never tipping my hand. The guy's in a rhythm. I would have like a workhorse.
Not even like split drives. Like why not split drives?
If the guy's like saying, okay, give me a breather, sure. But like outside of that, no. I would just kind of hand it over to one guy.
Interesting. I think I think there's a legit argument for just like letting guys stay a little bit fresh and have more juice later in the game.
Yeah, maybe split drives does make more sense, but I just would not have like a third down back if I could help it at all.
I think that's the dumbest. I think that's literally one of the dumbest things that NFL teams do. Bringing in James White or J.D. McKissick and
it's
just
giving up on possessions. It's like it's third and long and we're not even trying. It's it's kind of what happens.
So stupid. Especially
let's
when
do
you
a draft. We're already 50 minutes into this shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get into draft. But the Melvin Javonte thing is just. Again, I want to reiterate, in my opinion, it is like at worst, at this current cost, is like medium loss, huge win. Like mass, like he could be the RB1 win.
Yeah.
Like the overall number one player in fantasy win.
This could be his breakout season, and he goes on to be a multi-year stud. And that's what you want. You want
and he's so good, and the offense is going to be good. I don't care what Pat says that Russ is washed.
I don't think that, for the record.
I'm pretty sure you said that. I think maybe you're freezing.
I said I'm just asking questions. Why hasn't he looked as good as he did in early 2020? Why hasn't he looked as good? Okay, I'm just asking questions.
No, but I really do think this is just like we can argue till the cows come home about like all the different nuances of it, and it's a fascinating like argument. But like it really just boils down to like you can barely lose on this player. This can be the player you wish you drafted in 100% of your teams. So like
he doesn't have the pass catching profile, I don't think, to like necessarily have. I think he's got access to kind of the legendary season, but I don't think it's as easy for him because he didn't profile as like a big pass catcher, and he wasn't awesome as a pass catcher last year. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't off the charts or anything, or even close to that. So I guess
he also pass protects. He does pass protect. So he's going to be out there.
Yeah,
or he can be out there if they choose.
Can we just wait? Can I just draft him a little bit in the late first round? Can we just
hold
wait
on? What
before we hype the shit out of Javonte Williams?
We got the 6th pick. I want to know what you guys are doing in these because I have not done any of these yet.
I'm only through the 3rd round I think I'm through the 6th round in one of them, and I'm waiting to pick in round 3 in another. So I don't have really many ideas here.
Fine for
okay. Can I get my super quick take before we pick? QBs actually have gotten totally out of control, and so in my opinion, like how to win this tournament is kind of leaning into not necessarily like fading all the early QBs or going crazy like a 0 QB type of thing, but like kind of leaning into that. Just watch. It's going to be all QBs before we pick. And then it'll be us, and we're going to be like, okay, are we taking Joe Burrow 106, or are we taking Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp or Christian McCaffrey?
Taylor or McCaffrey over Burrow,
right?
For sure.
And so that it gets.
Would you take Kyler? I feel like I would take Kyler.
I would take Kyler.
I think Kyler is the cutoff for me personally.
It's interesting. I agree with you guys on that.
And so, but you're going to see.
We're like,
wait
if
till
all 5 QBs go, then we have to cut it off. And they did.
So are we Taylor over CMC, or where are you guys at on that?
I don't have a super strong preference.
It's half PPR. We can just do Taylor.
Yeah.
Does the Wentz trade worry you at all with Taylor? I mean, it could get ugly.
Well, they're going to get
Garoppolo. No, they're going to get Jimmy G. I think it's an upgrade. Everyone's
better,
like,
right?
oh,
why
trade Wentz to get Jimmy G? Like, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
I mean, Jimmy G is not better at real life football than Wentz, but for Jonathan Taylor, he's better.
Yeah, he's a manager, and Wentz
I think he's better at real life football. Wentz is
by how much? A minuscule,
by very little,
a small,
by
amount.
Very little. Yeah,
Wentz at least.
And the difference between like Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. That's the difference.
I think that. That's a good take. But so wait till we get back to our second. Wait till our second round pick comes, and you look at the quarterbacks that are available, because they're all they're every fantasy relevant like top 2 or 3 tiers.
Still on the board.
Yeah,
what the
dude.
Fuck?
Someone in our Discord was like, I almost got in the last 2 days. Multiple people have said I almost got Taylor CMC. Another person said I almost got Kupp Taylor. They were one pick
Wow.
away from getting those combos because the quarterback shit is out of control in these drafts.
It's too much.
Yeah,
CMC
one thing I
shouldn't
know,
go 1-11.
there's kind of like, it feels like some of the quarterbacks who have jobs that people aren't excited about last a little longer. But like,
Yes.
I don't want.
Dude, I am totally pro go QB early in these. This is insane. This is too much. Like I think QBs matter quite a bit in Superflex. This is too much. This is insane.
One thing about this format, right? It's only 2 wide receiver, right? What's the starting requirements?
Right. Quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, super flex. So only 2. All they did was turn a wide receiver position into a super flex.
So
Did Bitcoin Sherpa just went CMC Chase, I think, which is like you shouldn't be able to do that.
That's
not fair.
so sick, dude. That is
pretty sick.
like figure out your quarterbacks later when you can get those guys.
I think I have CMC Jefferson in the one I did.
Which
me
is
pull it up.
that's the same thing. That's just it shouldn't be possible. But that's people, in my opinion, have like realized, rightfully so, how valuable quarterbacks are in Superflex. But they can be the most important position and still be overvalued in these drafts.
Yeah.
That's where I think the rub is. People
Absolutely.
aren't figuring out that part of it.
Like,
Yeah,
Ethan says it's not too much when you actually look at QB 20 to 30. I mean, I definitely know who those are. We've done a lot of drafts.
Okay, does Hurts make sense here, or
Hurts or Fields? Fields, I do think makes sense here.
I think it's Tyreek.
Yeah,
I'm good with
Tyreek would
Tyreek.
be if we're not going to do.
But if you guys want to do Hurts or Fields, I'm down.
So
But
the only
think
thing
it's
I will
Tyreek.
say about Hurts or Fields is that's where the tier break comes, unless you like Watson.
Yeah, we could get a solid
like
QB1.
Fields.
You guys want to get a solid QB1? Let's
Fields.
not make
Fields.
it. All right, let's do
Fields.
Fields. I love Fields.
did I get it in? Yeah, I got it in.
Natural host fingers on.
I mean, because the point is we're trying to win a tournament here. Like I know the QB 20s to 30 are not good, but when you can get, like the running back and receiver points still count. Like that's the thing.
Exactly.
Because if you could potentially have Tyreek Hill and Jonathan Taylor on the same roster, and they could pretty easily have a season where they are the RB1 and the wide receiver 1, and by a lot. Like all you need to have then done is found a way to get starting QBs that are scoring points. Like QBs score points in every start. Like that's why late round QB works. It's not going to be easy to do that, but we would be taking rookie QBs late. We would be taking, the guys that people don't want, the forgotten whatever, Mitch Trubisky or something, just to try to piece it together.
You're speaking to my heartstrings. Trubisky. That's my highest. That's my highest owned quarterback. That's my highest owned quarterback in every format of these early underdog drafts.
How many
Really?
How many quarterbacks do you take in these?
I think it totally depends. So we have one. So I would call this, we're unless you guys want to take a Cousins, I think we're probably gonna take an AJ Brown or something else. Here we're gonna like anchor quarterback, which is you definitely need to take 3 at least. I think 4, depending upon how.
I think with the best ball element, you want 4. I've played best ball super flex for a long time.
We're up. Do we want
AJ Brown or Pitts? AJ Brown or Pitts, if you want to. So one other thing that's a big perk of this is taking the elite tight end, because then it locks up. You can only take 2.
But we got Waller sitting here and Kittle's way back here. I mean, we can easily grab those.
let's
Definitely
take
be
Brown.
there.
AJ, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we just took Taylor Fields, AJ Brown. I'm feeling real. These are guys that I am a big fan of. For anyone who's read the
This is a fun team.
Last couple
This
years.
is you can't get Jonathan Taylor and AJ Brown as your 1-2 start in a regular draft,
Right.
in the first and second round, and you can get them with a good quarterback.
We could have just done it with Tyreek without a QB.
Right.
But I was gonna say, I emphasized Superflex for some reason. I was trying to say I've played a best ball Superflex Dynasty League is what I was trying to emphasize, and feel very strongly that the 4th QB is helpful. Even though I had Dak and Lamar in that league for a long time, just getting to the 4th QB, because there is variance and there's injuries. And I mean, I think like if you could pull this off where you could wind up hitting on 5 starting QBs, if you have a good QB sleeper like a Trubisky and you want to take a shot late, I think 5 QBs is fine. It's almost like the running back position in a normal draft where you have to start 2. There's no flex where you could start a third quarterback, but having 5 on your roster isn't like a bad thing, I don't think, structurally. That was one of my first thoughts on this too, is like, I don't think people will think enough about, I think people will think they can get by with 3 QBs. Getting to a 4th QB is definitely an advantage.
And I think you can get by on 3 QBs you're going to see a lot of people taking 3 early or even like 4 early, which is just crazy to me. You're just killing your upside, right? Because we're getting, like you said, we could have just had Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, and AJ Brown. Our upside is just through the roof compared to your team.
Do we want Waller here?
I really like Waller here. This is kind of a break,
a
tier break everywhere.
You guys like it? Let's go for it.
I actually kind of like Nick Chubb and DeAndre Swift normally, but
we can do Swift. If you want to do Swift, I'll do Swift. If you want to do Swift,
I'd rather do Waller. I think Waller's a smash in this format. I think
do Waller.
Why are these tight ends going this late? Like
that's exactly what happens in Superflex. People just forget tight ends exist. I mean, it's just
like you need to crush the starting lineup in this. There's no flexes. Like
right, but like people's minds are, I have to get the running backs and receivers, and the only other thing I can make a detour for is the quarterbacks now. So now, like, tight end just gets forgotten about. It's like,
but tight end is the biggest advantage.
I know,
because it allows you to structure the rest of your team to win those other positions by taking Waller, Kelsey, Andrews, Kittle, Pitts, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Goddard. And you can't catch me if Waller's what we're hoping. You can't catch me at tight end with a bunch of tight ends. I can, as much as I like to take wide receivers early, I can somewhat catch you with a bunch of wide receivers compared to your high-end wide receivers, especially if I'm beating you at tight end regularly.
I love the super. I mean, God,
it's so fun. I'm really happy they did it.
I would be. This is my favorite tournament yet. I would be hammering these.
I'm so happy they did it because it's so fascinating to think through. So like when it opened. I don't know if you guys drafted, Pat, if you drafted when it first opened. These ADP, this is not how it was. It was like...
I've only done 2 slow, so I haven't...
It was like maybe Josh Allen 101, then you'd get JT, then you get CMC. It was like the quarterbacks were very, very slow to come off the board. And all of a sudden, everybody the switch flipped. And all of a sudden now it's like 13 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds, like in the first like 20 picks. So it has created fun. You want Mac? So
I like kind of Mac Jones here, and what do you think?
I don't want to do Mac. Mac feels like paying for the.
What about Aaron Jones?
I like Aaron Jones. I'm a little worried about
another receiver for. I mean, what do you want another running back for? Is what I meant.
Well, because I mean, basically we can just piece together hyper fragile.
We could piece together RB2 late,
I mean, I like the wide receivers. Jones is a nice pick, but so I'm fine with it.
Ruined our team.
Thank you. Can you talk about Metcalf? Can you give me your
this Metcalf ADP pick? Doesn't make sense. 5th round for Aaron Jones after the Aaron Rodgers re-sign?
Yeah, well, it's Superflex. Yeah, Jones is a fine pick there, but structurally, I think we wanted to get into some receivers because we've already gone tight end.
I think we're going to be floating in receiver value.
The Metcalf case, Beimfohr, was that his efficiency was actually down last year, but his targets per out run were up. And he actually showed this target earning ability that he hadn't shown the first couple of years. And I mean, I still think he can be an efficient receiver. Like I was expecting him to bounce back next year with that target boost. It's more stable targets per out run. I mean, he took a big step forward, like 4 or 5 percentage points into like truly legit range for a downfield guy that has, YPT efficiency upside as well, which he showed his first 2 years entirely, but not last year. I mean, his efficiency can be down again this year, but like he showed target hog with air yard, and he's got some after the catch ability potential. That's all real good. And so there's like, I'm just willing to be like, well, maybe they still move him. Maybe he gets a better quarterback onto his roster. Like he's a good young receiver, like for sure.
Yeah. I think they might move him.
There was a rumor that they want Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean
Seattle wants Watson.
Seattle's going to make another stupid trade. It has to happen.
They're going to take everything they got for Russ and just turn it into Watson.
And they're going to turn it into one thing. They're going to put all of those eggs in one basket. They might trade up to like the top 3 to take Malik Willis. Like they're going to do something dumb.
Doesn't Watson have a no trade clause?
Does he have any footing to stand on?
Yeah, I mean, really? He literally can't. They can't trade him to Seattle if he doesn't want to go there. And I would not go to Seattle. I'd rather sit out another year than go to Seattle. If I was I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I would sit out the 2022 season rather than go play for Pete Carroll in Seattle. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. It will hurt his value. It will hurt his value.
I agree, actually. But yeah, I don't know that Deshaun Watson will agree, since he's probably sitting worrying if he's ever going to play.
Right. I think
he's getting paid.
The clock on whatever discipline might happen or whatever.
I think Carolina might go all in for him now.
I don't know that I'd go play for Matt Rule either.
I would not. Who would you rather play
I'm
for?
not playing unless I play for
I'd rather play for Matt Rule. I'd rather play for Matt Rule because I think he's getting fired sooner.
Yeah, but you won't be the one that makes him not get fired, because Carolina will win if Deshaun Watson. They'll win the division if Deshaun Watson is there.
Yeah, but you can have a falling out, and there can be this whole thing, this discontent quarterback. Maybe you can get him pushed out. You're not getting Carroll pushed out. Russell Wilson just tried that, and it didn't work. So you know that you don't have that path.
Deshaun Watson's going to go from almost in prison to being able to have the power to push the head coach out.
Yeah, he's a star NFL quarterback. He's going from almost in prison to about to get traded 3 first-round picks for. So yeah, he's definitely going to have that power.
That is true.
Well,
we live in a fucked up world.
We sure do.
McLaurin.
Yeah, we're out of.
I shouldn't have said it, because I know who this is, and he's going to take McLaurin.
Yeah, well,
he's also probably watching.
He's got Carson Wentz at quarterback, bro. Like,
what about Evans? What if the Bucs get Watson? That was another rumor.
That'd be my god.
They're still in their window, and
we got McLaurin, guys.
There we go. All right,
cool.
Ben, are you cool with McLaurin?
Yeah, go ahead, take him.
He should have taken McLaurin. He has Wentz.
This team was fun for the first 3 picks. We can take bad players now.
Do you want someone else?
McLaurin's
Do you want Evans? Evans is here. Is there someone
McLaurin's
else
a good pick. McLaurin's a good pick.
Thank you.
I'm bummed that Ben's bummed. We were so excited about this.
No. I'm not. I just think structurally, the second running back there, when we're in the Superflex, we only have the 1 QB. It's almost like I would rather take the second QB. It's the easiest position to piece with volume late. We could have, I don't think in Superflex I'd want to get a second running back early. I mean, that's the position I would be forgetting. I would still make sure to get the elite tight end like we did. I want the receiver depth no matter what. And, hit the QBs where you can. I'm fine with 0 RB in Superflex. And we already took Taylor.
What I was thinking
I
is
think
basically, can't we at this point go take just like 2 more running backs total, but take them later than we would in a traditional hyper fragile build? And then that leaves us a lot of bullets at wide receiver and quarterbacks. Kind of what I was thinking.
Or what you'll see
that's
later, the running backs that are available later, it's crazy, man. Like,
if Jones is, you're right, Pat, that Jones is a good value there. And if he's a hit, like if he's a top 7 player, running back, or, he could be better than that, but I'm just kind of saying Dylan's there and whatever. But let's say he's RB7, and Taylor's really good and Brown's good and Waller's good and all this stuff. He'll be a piece for this team for sure. I definitely lean more towards 0 RB when you bring in Superflex. And so, especially with Taylor in there, it's like, I just want to piece together RB2. I just want to bet on Taylor, and RB2 is the weak spot, I would literally just take the rest of our running backs to our last 4 picks. Would have been my preference probably, and have 5 backs, but they were all late backs as our RB2.
I think between that and Ben, you and Sean did a podcast on what I would probably call from round 8 to round 11, maybe, is this tier of all the Connor, Penny, Ramondre, that whole tier. And so that's where Miles Sanders goes there, right? I just been living in that tier. So I've almost all my Superflex teams are 0 RB teams, because it allows you to get a quarterback early. It allows you to dominate wide receiver and tight end. And then you can still get, right? If James Conner comes back to Arizona, it's he's not a freaking 9th round pick. He's a
what do you guys like here?
I like Devontae Smith and Amari Cooper, and I'd also do Baker Mayfield.
I like Devontae and Baker. Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Devontae.
All right, let's do Devontae. We're gonna keep pushing QB. They're going high. Malik Willis went last round. People are not stopping.
I hadn't done one in a couple of days, and I did one before we hopped on. Malik Willis went 40th overall.
That's
I think you just keep pushing it. Eventually, these people have to stop taking quarterbacks. You don't want to be the one at the end of the run. You want to
not
be
if
the
everyone's
one...
taking 5, like you suggested. I mean, there really aren't any quarterbacks left. Our quarterback 2 is about to be Mitch Trubisky. So
I had the 101. I had the 101. I took Josh Allen, and Mitch Trubisky was my QB2, and I took 4.
We're gonna be fine at QB. Things are gonna work out here.
We're gonna get into some fun late round quarterback takes. We're really in the galaxy brain.
Yeah. So I mean, we still got Brown, McLaurin, and Javonte. It's not like our receivers are bad. The fact that we're willing to push our QBs has made certainly the 2 running backs really okay. The early tight end. I mean, you want even more receiver depth than that, but like, this is a good team.
This is a good team. I know. I agree with you. I typically prefer 0 RB or like anchor RB in this tournament, but this is a good team.
Do we? I mean, what about Mac Jones as a 1v1 with Aaron Jones? Is that like I'm starting to feel a little left out in the cold here on quarterback?
No, I want Aaron Jones.
Talk me through it, guys. Talk me through it.
No, Aaron Jones for sure.
So I think this is a thing that I actually feel fairly passionate about. Like with this QB2 spot, pushing it. If a value presents itself, you can take it with an upside guy. Mac Jones is not that archetype of a player.
Yeah.
And so
it's got to get flat at the other positions. It's finally starting to flatten out at the other positions, but we were adding like impact players.
Yes. And so getting uncomfortable with QB2 / Superflex is like, in my opinion, the biggest edge in this. Whether your first quarterback is Josh Allen or it doesn't actually matter who your first quarterback is, but getting uncomfortable with QB2 is like literally there's probably not another team in this draft besides the guy picking right now. Do your research is Josh Pringle. He's in the chat who's getting uncomfortable with his quarterbacks, but like no one is willing to get uncomfortable at quarterback in these drafts. So if you can do it, and then when you hit, obviously you need to hit, but the payoff is like,
and Fields isn't even like
you win you match at quarterback and you win every other position when you're willing to get uncomfortable at that QB2 spot.
That is pretty interesting. I have I'm glad we did this before because I have Justin Fields in
All right, I got the pick. We just got on the clock. Go to QB real quick. I want to make sure he's still there before I just like start throwing out names. I think we go Garoppolo right now to stack with Taylor and play that he's going to Indy. That's been the latest report. I think he's because we're playing him to be a 16-game starter right now. And I mean, maybe we could have pushed that, but I kind of think we should just get it here. What do you guys think?
like it.
Do you think we can take him? I'm gonna ask. Do you think Jimmy G has the like fantasy relevancy though that even like makes it worth a pick?
If Taylor is a superstar, then I think the offense is good enough that
I think so.
He can.
Because he wasn't really in San Fran, right?
He wasn't, and neither was Wentz necessarily in Indy. It's a fair question because they don't really. But I think they're going to have to add another receiver.
Wentz had some useful weeks this past year.
I was going to say, if he does what Wentz did last year, we would be pretty happy with him here.
Yeah, we would
at this cost in Superflex. But can he? Can he do?
Yeah,
I think he's definitely ahead of Goff. Yeah, I mean, because we're playing the Colts to be good. You know, we're playing Taylor to have 20 TDs again, and I mean, I think that definitely correlates with Garoppolo being good on a season-long level.
One of the reasons that I was down for it is that there was a guy I really wanted who was my next guy that I wanted that wasn't a quarterback. It was a little bit down the board, and he hasn't gone yet. So,
this guy's saying he's watching Jimmy G drafted. You got to go in on him like you went on me. So did you go in on somebody earlier today, Eric, for drafting?
We had a conversation. We've had so many conversations in the Discord, but I'm still not sold on that Jimmy G is
a starter,
like super fantasy. Not necessarily a starter. I think he's going to be a starter, but like a guy I want to spend a pick on over, whoever was there.
Dude, when did Judy go? Oh, Judy went before I picked. Never mind.
Sutton?
Yeah, he would have been a good pick.
Sutton went too.
I would go.
No,
I don't think he's fantasy relevant either. We can push that if you guys want.
Let's push it. One more.
Who else do we got? We got 9
Garrett
seconds.
Garrett Wilson.
Ayuk or Wilson.
Yeah, let's do Garrett Wilson.
Wilson's fine.
Yeah, I like Garrett Wilson a lot. Garrett Wilson start. Okay, so right behind Treylon Burks. That's kind of where I feel like that's where he should be going. They should be going very close to each other.
So I just to tidy up the Jimmy G thing. When I envision him on probably a worse offense, at best an equal offense. Let's say they're equal. He was not particularly fantasy useful. Even in Superflex, in theory, we can find guys in a couple of rounds that are doing, right. You talked about Goff, he's not that different from Goff. If
the reason I like
Jimmy
him
Garoppolo.
here is in part because we took Fields, who I think will be a high variance. He won't be a weekly stability guy. He's going to have some down games and some spike games. So I actually don't mind in Superflex having one guy who I feel like could get us 15 to 20. He doesn't have the ceiling, but can get us 15 to 20 a week and be we're playing him to be a 16-game starter, first of all. That's rule one. But if he is a 16-game starter, he's our stable QB. And now we have Fields and some other high variance guys. I think you can get into some trouble without at least some stability, right? And that's one thing I'll say in Garoppolo's favor. He's probably going to have. Well, I mean, I guess he could have some games where Taylor just runs all over everyone. And he doesn't.
But they also, the Colts early in the season, they had a decent pass rate on 1st and 10. They were more of a balanced team in terms of pass rate over expected overall. They weren't this ultra run heavy team the way the 49ers were. I mean, the 49ers were just so run heavy. And
I think the upside to the Colts offense is better for QB scoring, because Reich is like a QB coach
for non-rushing quarterback scoring.
Yeah. I think he just hated Wentz. Look at the way that their whole team is just crushing Wentz since the trade. That has been crazy, by the way. Everyone in India is just didn't like him as a teammate. All the takes all across, that's you don't see that much public bashing.
Yeah,
all the beats are writing articles about, look, they just didn't like him. They didn't think he was a leader. They didn't think he was a good locker room guy. It's kind of crazy. The day he gets traded.
So I am just going to comment with Jay Wyke in the chat. First of all, Jimmy G is not a better value than Trevor Lawrence almost at any point in the draft. I don't agree with that. One guy has upside. The other guy, you're please God, give me 15 points. And I'm not
right. Trevor Lawrence, you're praying will get you 15 points.
Okay, we're up. So
who do we like?
Alberto went. Is Mitch gone? Trubisky?
Yeah, Trubisky went before Garoppolo. That's why I was like,
I'm gonna put Ayuk in the queue, right? Because
let's do Ayuk.
Yeah.
Let's do Ayuk.
Okay.
Another receiver's great here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're piling on receivers right now.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Or quarterbabs.
So the only thing I was going to say about QBs, so we can just kind of scan them, Pat. Who's available?
Oh yeah, Corral, Howell, Brady. Just
Brady.
And so,
guys, we should take Brady. Don't
Brady's
tell anyone.
Not playing.
Don't tell anyone. We should take Brady.
I took Brady one time.
I like Corral and Howell in these sophomore drafts. I've done the same thing that you're talking about, Eric, where I just skip all the quarterbacks. I've taken Fields, but I basically don't. I'm not taking Zach Wilson. He wasn't good last year. I'm not taking Trevor Lawrence. He wasn't good last year either, and he's going very expensive. There's real opportunity cost in the rookie and sophomores to take those quarterbacks. I just take three. I take Willis, Howell, and Corral, or I take I just take three of the rookies. And
so that's my counter to the Jimmy G thing is you feel uncomfortable right now with Matt Corral and Sam Howell and Ritter and Mariota and Taysom.
And
you feel uncomfortable with those guys and Pickett. You feel uncomfortable with those guys right now, but they're about to get a job.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have more upside than Jimmy Garoppolo has. It's just that we know for sure he's going to be a starter, 99.9%. Right.
We're doing it right now, right? I think we should do it.
100%.
Let's say
which guy do you like better? Corral? Okay.
Corral's the highest upside, I think.
Yeah. He's going to start for the Seahawks this year.
Oh, so do you think?
I think Willis goes before 9, and I think the Seahawks are going to take a QB 9, and he's the one that is sort
of.
When
does Pittsburgh pick? 7?
Pittsburgh? No, they're later, aren't they? Aren't they in the teens
they made
or something?
The playoffs. You're right. How many was
1920 or something like that?
7th overall. NFL draft order.
Yeah, Willis has been getting a ton of buzz.
He's going to go crazy high.
I like Howell too. I mean, Howell just went, but Howell runs. He ran a lot last year. Ran a ton last year. I think he had more rushing yards per game than Malik Willis.
He didn't run at all the year before. He's a weird prospect, dude. He was like awesome. Shocker with De'Ami Brown and Javonte Williams and Michael Carter and Daz Newsome. Like, spoiler alert, he had 4 NFL players with him, and he crushed. Right. And he was a really good recruit. He's a good football player. And then they all left, and he had freaking no one with him. And that's when he just like started running. Like crazy.
Casey's got our next pick. Oh, no, he went.
No, he went. I liked it too.
That's a good.
If we're picking him to the Seahawks, we could have got him with Fant. That would have been nice.
That's sharp.
I like this comment from Nick. He says, Hayden said once like a pyramid scheme, saw something on Twitter says like an FT. No one understands his utility or value, but they just keep buying, hoping he moons. That's exactly Carson Wentz, dude.
That is gold.
I missed that. That's an amazing.
That's great.
By Hayden.
That's the best analogy I think I've ever seen.
That's so good. I can't believe that wasn't Denny. Denny wouldn't have known the specifics of NFTs though.
Does he know what an NFT is?
He does. I think vaguely he does know what they are. I don't know if you guys saw. Speaking of Noah Fant, Pat and Denny were out at the Super Bowl, and they interviewed Noah Fant, and Noah Fant was there. He was promoting an NFT project, so he was like pitching. He was like he was explaining to Pat and Denny like, is it an NFT project? And Denny was just like, It was one of my favorite moments of the year so far.
Jesus.
Rondale Moore just went. And,
so we're at 3 Qs. Is there any other?
Where he's going.
Do we have 3? We have 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We have 3 quarterbacks.
Click on QB though. I just want to see if there's anything else that we might want to.
What do you think about Isaiah Spiller though? Also,
I
like him.
Anything else would be solid right now. Oh, we could take Brady, guys. What if Brady comes back?
I can't even tell. He's not.
He's talking about it.
Leave the door open. Do your research. We got to stop giving away all our picks here to do your research. I don't know. I'm kind of. Oh, guys, Will Fuller. What are we doing? He broke his finger.
Fuller. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
He broke his finger. I know. Oh, he's injury prone. He shattered his finger. When you shatter a finger, you're much more likely to shatter another finger because that's a thing.
That's what they say.
Clearly,
that's
you've never broken a finger. Clearly, you've never broken a finger.
Yeah, your left ring finger is now more at risk because you broke one on your right.
I broke one finger and I never. Oh no, I actually did break another finger. I was gonna say I never broke another finger, but I broke 2 fingers.
See,
unbelievable.
This is why you don't take Will Fuller. Ben literally just proved it live on air.
You break one, you're gonna break another, and one was tipping a pass in a flag football game. I snapped a finger. Playing
Ben's injury prone.
Yeah.
It was weird. Did you guys see Fuller posted it was like a month ago. A picture of him in like the hospital bed with like, the big cast.
No, he
got surgery, recently got surgery again on that finger. Or
the word was that he like literally shattered it. Like there was just like a shitload of I think it's been a harrowing journey back from this finger injury. So I don't mean to make light of it, but I feel like the discount that we're getting, like, a year removed from the injury is kind of.
You put the pins in it, it heals.
Right.
Eventually, I assume.
Is that what you did?
I had pins in one of my broken fingers. The other one lined up really well. They showed me the crack in the X-ray, but it was my ring finger, and it was just I went up to tip a deep ball, and it just it's like jumped to tip it, pulled it right back, broke the play up, pass breakup on the play.
Well, as long as Will Fuller catches the touchdown, then do we really care if he gets re-injured if it's in the playoffs?
Yeah,
no, we don't.
So, guys, I hope you know what I'm about to suggest here.
No,
you're not
please.
Gonna like it.
But it's not.
I'm not gonna like it one bit.
Is it Melvin Gordon?
Let me just go ahead and get him in the queue.
No, absolutely not.
Go to the tight end. Go to the tight end so we can find some that are better than this.
We're not.
He's by far the best pick.
Hold on. I have a late round tight end. He's not worth discussing yet. I promise you will like it. Can we wait at least a couple rounds?
Yes,
I swear.
Who's a receiver?
I actually have a pick I really like. I think Rachaad White's kind of a smash here. Dude,
I like Rachaad White. I like Darrell Henderson. We can take Rachaad White, but Darrell Henderson. Why does Darrell Henderson go after everything we just saw? Why is he going in like the 14th round? Someone explain that to me.
I guess
it's
because
the same
Michelle's there too.
situation. Akers
Right?
could get hurt
Michelle's-
again. Yeah,
But
I hear you.
Michelle's gone, right?
No, I think he's under contract still.
Is he under contract?
I think so. I thought he had 2 years left. I may be wrong about that.
No, he was on the same. He's the same year as Penny and those guys that are free agents now.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Okay.
And Ronald
Yeah.
Jones, he's in that same class. Ronald Jones, Penny,
Okay.
Michelle. And he got traded, so he would have still had that rookie contract. He's got to be a free agent.
You're right, and they wouldn't have picked up his 5th year
No.
option. So okay.
Well, can you go to receiver though, so we can oh wait, do we have how many?
Actually-
We hit the grid maybe, so we can. What do we have? I can't figure out what do we have.
Keep going.
from
Yeah,
structure,
scroll
or
up.
the top of that.
Scroll
yeah.
up the other way.
So we have 6 receivers. Okay. And
Yeah.
how many do we start in this? 2 or 3?
2 with a flex.
2 and a flex.
And 2
Yeah.
running backs and 1 tight end, and then 1 QB and a super flex and a flex, basically. 1,
Yeah.
2, 2, 1, super flex.
Yeah.
So you could start 4 receivers if your other QB suck.
If your QB
All right,
really
I think we're in
sucks,
good
you'd start
shape.
more.
Yeah. So the White was a good pick there. Then I was thinking we didn't even need to hit running back yet, but that makes sense.
The wide receiver is the devalued position here. Which
Yeah,
is
I thought it was 3 receivers.
no.
still.
That would be much more
Not.
fun. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no QBs left worth looking at.
I
would
No,
love to
there-
take
there
a
are.
4th QB. Ritter went.
Mariota, I think is. I mean,
he's
Mariota
probably
might get us started.
draftable.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady.
Do you really think Tom Brady will play this year? I think it's.
I don't, but I think there's at
Essentially
least
zero.
some of the national guys think there's at least a possibility. I mean, I don't know.
He was in such a good situation before. I think he's gone for. I could see him playing again next year, but I don't think he plays this year.
That's interesting.
Like
He's
he goes,
going to-
he takes a year off. He decides that
Yeah.
He's
can't
going to
stand
San
not
Fran.
playing football.
Haven't you heard the rumors? He's going to San Fran.
So I think
I'm ready.
running
Yes.
back again, unless we have a good receiver option.
What is
If
that?
Eric likes
receiver?
our late tight end, I'm fine pushing tight end 2 with Waller on the roster. We're playing for Waller to be a star.
I got one that fits this team. I promise.
the receivers.
A tight end or
A tight end.
Okay.
where are you at on quarterback, Eric? Because we have 3. Marcus Mariota is like the last guy.
I do
I
like
saw, but-
I do like Mariota. The other ones after this are guys that I don't think have a realistic starting job. They would be like kind of contingent bets.
Yeah.
But I think there are some interesting ones, but we wouldn't have to take them here. They would be
Where's Mariota going to start? Someone tell me the team that he lands on.
it's tough now.
Because if Trubisky's going to the Giants,
If he's going to the Giants, yeah.
is it Houston?
it would be no. It would be who like there's
It
going
could
to
be
be
the
a team that gets
Steelers.
left.
with-
The team that gets left out of the Watson sweepstakes.
The Steelers have said they're
Oh,
out.
come on!
Well,
Do your
don't have to worry about that.
research. That's Pringle.
I'm taking a lot of Julio Jones. I gotta come clean on that.
I
I
mean,
think he's
we're-
a massive value
should
right now.
we should keep taking wide receivers. I think we're
We can
fine
also-
at running back.
yeah, we
We're
can
fine
take
at
him on the line if
quarterback.
you want.
I mean, Julio Jones was pretty good when he was on the field
Yeah.
last year.
I was going to
What
say
about the-
Gainwell, like just to get a 4th running
Yeah.
back, but
I like.
we can take
Gainwell
Julio.
too. I like Khalil Herbert also.
I like Khalil
Um,
Herbert. Yeah, I was going to suggest him too.
I have quite a bit of Khalil Herbert. Just again, so one thing I'm doing in this, we talked about like the 0 running back thing. I'm very 0 running back heavy in these drafts because I'm just like, dude, it is March. You know what I mean? Like so much crazy shit can happen. So I'm just taking all the contingent bets. That includes free agents. That includes murky
We got
situations.
Pick away
Everything.
from Mariota. I'm on
Ugh.
tilt.
I know.
Casey says Carolina, and that's a good call. That'd be another good landing spot for him. The other guys are not going to start. Darnold's not starting. Who? Will you click back on QB? I don't think
there's any. I don't think there's
Lock. Lock
Tra-
might start.
Locke and Trask have Locke and Trask in their range is to start. I know that it's rare,
Minshew. Minshew's a free agent, right?
but let me look.
Izzy, can you check that?
Yep.
I guess we wouldn't take him here though, right?
No,
not here.
We wouldn't. But he'd be someone to consider.
What
Who do you like
here
at running
up in
back
one
at this
pick?
point? Do you want to click over to running back?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
under contract.
We
Minshew's
got
under
7.
contract.
Okay.
Oh, dude, like I feel like Raheem Mostert is undervalued.
Oh
Dude,
yeah, I like that.
I
call.
love Mostert. What?
Also,
how-
Chuba. I mean, if they're trying to
Yeah.
trade McCaffrey, he's gonna.
There's
have
a few
I like
names there
Mostert a
we're
lot.
taking. McKinnon is a
Both.
good pick.
Yep.
We've even taken Gaskin before, who I don't love to take, but like at this stage, like you can take a swing on.
But this is what I'm saying on like the zero running back, or Ben, when you were talking about earlier with the Jones thing. It's like I like Aaron Jones as a value too, but there's like infinite amount of names back here that like could skyrocket, or they're just contingent bets, right? Chuba is going to be on the Panthers, even if CMC is still there. He has contingent value. Mostert is like, if he comes back to San Fran, he's a smash. If he goes to Miami, he's a smash.
I think he's.
But it's just we just don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Oh, Miami! I didn't even think about that.
I didn't
dude.
think about the Miami thing either.
Holy
That's
shit!
Good. That's good.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to stop drafting Mostert now.
That's the appropriate response to that possible scenario. What do we have left?
Welcome to my team, Scott. That is Raheem. I'm like Raheem Mostert in the 17th round. Can you imagine if he's on the Dolphins?
God.
We
Unbelievable.
have 4 more picks here. What are we looking positionally? Another running back.
3, 4, 7, 1. We took 2 early running backs. So
I think the 7 receivers is enough with only 2 and 1 flex. Maybe
I think we're. Can you look at our team, Pat, really quick? I want to see who the receivers are, just to visualize.
They're pretty good. Oh, Mostert ties in with Ayuk too.
Oh, that's nice. We're still probably chasing a little bit at wide receiver. Like the thing is,
yeah, I mean,
you should have strong, really strong receivers in this format. And so
this is good though. Wilson's gonna go high. He's gonna play. He's our 4. Ayuk and Fuller 5, 6. Jones. I get it. Like we could definitely use it. I think we almost need 1 more at each position. I would love a 4th QB.
Yep.
1 more running back. 1 more receiver.
I like that. One at each.
One at each.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mostert's going to help your team for the first 2 weeks, no doubt. That's a good.
Is it
a good comment? That's a good comment.
How late is your tight end pick?
He doesn't get drafted in normal big board 20 round drafts.
Okay.
So
in
Superflex, he probably also doesn't get drafted.
I mean, we did do the one early, so
he correlates with this team. He correlates with this team.
All right. We're just gonna say that for the last round.
Yeah.
God damn it! Do your research. Why are you going to do that? You're going to take Sky Moore? You're going to take Sky Moore? That would have been a fun little element for the show. I hope,
told you he's watching. I told you he was watching.
So what about Minshew here? Just because we've been talking about him.
I'm fine with a quarterback. So the other thing I was going to say about quarterback, can we wait on quarterback? I don't think anybody's going to take Minshew.
We got 10 seconds.
What about Robbie? What about Robbie? What about Robbie?
Gross. Sure.
God, Sky Moore would have been so much better.
Why do you want?
What about
football players?
Robbie is not a bad football player.
Jarek would have been the pick.
I'm very angry at you. Do your research. That would have been a lot of fun.
Was Brevin Jordan your tight end?
No.
Okay, because he would have been a good pick. He's who I want.
Brevin gets drafted.
I don't mind. I don't mind Brevin Jordan, but no, he's not the guy. Why do you hate Robbie? Robbie was
really bad last year.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Have you seen the Panthers?
Yeah, but he was.
That's a strong counterpoint.
Wait till if the Panthers get this. This is my favorite thing to troll, and so I'm about to use it to my benefit. But everybody always says, "But if they get a quarterback upgrade, can you imagine?" Yeah. And I'm about to say that. But can you imagine if the Panthers get Deshaun Watson? Robbie Anderson will be awesome, and that is true. But he might also suck with Garoppolo, right? Or Mariota.
He might also suck with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
he was really bad.
I don't buy that he's bad. I don't buy.
Yeah, I don't actually think he's.
I don't buy that from a fantasy perspective that he doesn't have look at what we're doing. I guess maybe we should have taken Hamler. I didn't realize that the
how many running backs do we have? Oh yeah, Hamler. God, way over Robbie.
Yeah, we should have taken Hamler.
The chat knows who I'm taking, by the way.
Well, then they're going to take him. Aren't half these people in this draft?
So maybe we should take him next.
Yeah, let's take him next. I like that play. I think that's a good pick. I think that's one of those picks that's going to be really hyped by the end of the summer, but won't be now.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Especially with the Jimmy. I mean, that's a great Jimmy.
It's a perfect fit.
It's
a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, you said it was correlated, but it's like it's beyond correlated.
You want to
that's our whole bet.
It's like the whole offense working is if this guy has a good year.
All those Pittman targets are going to this.
They're coming right down. The A-dot's shrinking by 4. They're going to Kylan Granson.
The new Kittle, baby. Let's start the new Kittle narratives.
Yeah.
Give me this new Kittle.
Granson.
I was smashing Granson before Doyle retired because it was just, I don't know. I thought it made sense that, Doyle shouldn't be keeping Granson from getting on the field. And if he's keeping him from getting on the field, then Granson just sucks. So, it is what it is. Now Doyle is gone. Mo Ali Cox is a free agent. I'm like they're not going to invest, at least I don't think, that much in a tight end. And they just drafted this kid.
Yeah, that was a good call for sure.
I think they're going to see what they have in him. I don't know what that means for fantasy.
So we're trying to hold out for
see
one more QB and we need to get another running back. And I believe McKinnon is still sitting there. Go to running backs. There's like a few more that are other good ones too, though. Yeah, McKinnon's at the top of the board. He's going to go.
Oh.
How is McKinnon going in the 18th round?
Yeah, there he goes.
And there he goes.
Keyshawn Vaughn should be going well above this. He's the last man standing in Tampa Bay. They're going to bring someone in, but it might be fucking David Johnson or something.
You have another QB, Eric, in the store?
I have some Galaxy Brain QB takes that I think are pretty fun.
Oh, Minshew. Minshew.
I think we can just talk about him. These people aren't going to take the guys that we're talking about. I think Trask is a reasonable guy. Like if the musical chairs happen and Tampa Bay gets left out of QB, they just drafted him. And, I don't know, maybe they like him. Who knows? He could be a starter next year, but there's uncertainty. And so he goes super late. Huntley is like maybe Baltimore trades him because somebody else wants him.
No, they love him as their backup. Who else? Is there any more names? Scroll down a little bit.
What's Fitzpatrick's deal?
Mason.
Did he retire?
Mason Rudolph could actually start. Yeah,
Oh,
Fitzpatrick
so bad,
is.
though.
I wouldn't mind.
What about Fitzpatrick? Couldn't he end up somewhere?
Yeah,
I've heard zero.
Every guy he's ever backed up has gotten hurt. It's 100% correlation.
Arthroscopic surgery. Oh, he takes Wentz's job. Wentz fucking sucks.
Just take him.
We have Jimmy G though. We can't have them both in it.
Jesus Christ.
No. He's taking Wentz is in Washington.
Oh, yes.
I'm saying if he stays in Washington, he's going to take Wentz's job.
You're saying he's going to take Wentz's job.
We have McLaurin. Oh my God, we just
McLaurin.
got the Fitzpatrick McLaurin stack.
I enjoy
Championship.
Okay. I hated the pick, and now we've gal-brained a stack. So
I was. You guys caught up to my big old Galaxy brain is what happened. You were thinking Indy.
Yeah.
You guys hadn't caught up to where Wentz is.
You're
get with the times. Wentz is a commander.
They could bring him back. That would not. I mean, they only traded a couple thirds for Wentz.
Okay.
Can I competition?
I know we took him. Can I throw two names out? Everybody's very stuck on the rookies that we're projecting higher. Carson Strong is not that worse of a QB. I mean, he's worse, but he's not that much worse of a QB prospect than some of these other guys like Ritter. And he doesn't get drafted in these. And my super galaxy brained take that I do on zero quarterback teams where I take 5 or maybe even 6 quarterbacks just all super late is Bailey Zappi, Western Kentucky quarterback.
Not a bit.
Right there.
Here he is in the
not a bit.
I mean, I knew he was a rookie, but I was trying to figure out if
not a bit. He is a rookie. He is. We talked about how I do have takes on players and all of that. And from grinding college football, DFS, and watching so many games, he's the kind of guy that I believe is legitimately good at football, but doesn't have all these measurables.
You think he's Gardner
the NFL requires? Kind of, sort of. Yeah. I mean, he was an air raid quarterback. But I legitimately think he's good. I legitimately
think he's Gardner Minshew. So wait, what do we want to do here?
Running back,
not quarterback. Running.
We got to grab an RB. Click on RB real quick.
Deontay Foreman's here. Trey Sermon's here.
Sermon. I kind of like Sermon at this price.
Sony, Sermon, Algier, Pierce.
I'll go Sermon.
Oh yeah, I would do Sony too. Sony, just because he doesn't have a team, doesn't.
Sony might get a job.
Yeah,
Sony might get a really good.
Yeah,
Sony should.
I was worried we were going to time out, and we were going to take Kyle Trask. So
Sermon's fine.
Yeah,
I like
Pierce Strong.
Michelle too, though.
Pierce Strong is a good pick. Someone said him.
Strong. There's good rookies back here.
So what are we doing in the? That was the 19th. So our last pick is what?
Oh wait, we have another pick.
Running back. We can do quarterback if you want.
I thought we only had 4 left when I said that. We did hit 1 of each since I said that, so we do have this bonus pick now that I didn't.
Bonus pick. Oh, I know who our bonus pick is.
Another RB.
Another RB. I don't want to say it because I think we're on the do your research side of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Josh Pringle. That is Josh Pringle, and he's.
Oh, that's Josh Pringle.
Yeah,
he's very good at this. He's very good at this, and he's.
I'm sorry, I got too mad at you, Josh Pringle.
Get mad. Like, let's get mad at him. I've been messaging him all week. He's been in the Omni Fantasy drafts, and I mean Pringle's a good dude, but like, why are you stealing all our guys? What's going on?
I am a little bit. The Sky Moore one annoys me because I didn't get a chance to happily click Sky Moore on the podcast with Eric. That would have been a lot of fun.
Shout out, Josh. Thank you. So, while we're approaching, I don't know if the running back that you're talking about is this, so I apologize if I'm spoiling it. I don't think I am. I've been taking a lot of Jarrett Patterson. What do you guys think about Jarrett Patterson back here as a contingent?
I like that.
Yeah,
bet.
I like that for sure. One of the guys that just went. This isn't the guy I was talking about, but I think Foreman is an awesome pick.
Yeah.
He looked really good.
Dude, these are way too good of running backs to be available back here.
In the 20th round, there's
Michelle,
so many
Foreman. Like what, dude? You can build. We literally could have won just anchor RB and taken.
Yeah, we probably should have. Now I'm back off of the Jones pick.
Dude, I want to do so many of these drafts. Oh my god!
Now you've learned. Now you've learned how these drafts go. I literally have. I told the people in our Discord. I was like, I'm gonna do 100% zero RB in these drafts because like
I think you can anchor.
I'm gonna eventually hit the right combination of the.
What about Eno?
On one.
Yeah, I'm down with Eno.
I like Eno.
I love it. I don't think both will be back. If they're both back, we're in a tough spot. But if they're not,
same thing. Right. Contingent bet in an awesome offense.
Right. All right.
He looked good when he got a little time this year.
He did.
Yeah. He's Rashad White, who we took like
that's a pretty good
5 rounds earlier, except he's better.
It's a pretty good
you
team.
Did well. You did well with the short clock and not usually being the guy on the 1s and 2s.
I appreciate that. All right. So our team is Justin Fields, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Corral, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Does this? It feels a little light at quarterback, doesn't it?
That when you read it out loud, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good at all. I have to say. It seems like maybe we blew it.
The QBs
did we blow it?
Better, all right.
Did we blow it?
I'm a little worried about your quarterback.
Yeah, I love the wide receivers. I love the running backs, but I'm a little bit worried about your quarterbacks. God, it does feel a bit scary. Matt Corral might be a second-round pick, and this team's immediately dead. If Matt Corral's not like a top 15 pick, this team is.
Matt Corral is bad, by the way. Matt Corral is not a good football player. Like he's a good athlete. He was a good college football quarterback. I have zero faith in Matt Corral being a good NFL quarterback.
What about Howell then? Well, are you? Do you think Howell's more of a wild card in that he could actually be good?
I think Howell is actually has a wider variance. Like is much wider variance.
I'm going to start taking Howell then. I'm going to start taking
the film
Howell.
takes.
I've taken more Howell.
The film takes at QB like actually matter kind of a lot to me. Like I feel like if you watch the guy week in and week out, you get a pretty good feel if he's good or not. And so
yeah. So
if you're telling me that you watch a lot of Corral and you think he's not very good,
he's not.
I watched a lot of Jake Locker. I knew Jake Locker wasn't going to be a successful.
Correct. So that is unbelievable. I'm so happy that you made that just random reference. That's how I feel about Matt Corral. He put up tons of college numbers. He played for Lane Kiffin in a Lane Kiffin offense that literally it's all play calling. Lane is a mastermind. And Corral's a good athlete. So he ran a lot and like Lane designs shit open. And so Corral was good enough to make that happen. He lost them games more than he ever won them games at Ole Miss, despite this past year, they didn't have a ton of talent. But he had Elijah Moore the year before. Like they were not lacking for talent most of the time at Ole Miss. Whereas Sam Howell this year was at least like still putting up big numbers with absolutely nothing and like running with. I mean, Mac Brown coaches UNC. Lane Kiffin coaches Ole Miss. There's a big stark difference in the situations that they were in, and so. I'm not really that bullish on Sam Howell.
What, 85?
Like literally, like he might die tomorrow. He's very old.
I hope not. After you said that,
yeah, that would be really dark. Now
that would be very unfortunate for my podcasting career. But I think Howell is, they're both really high variance players. But I'm a little bit more bullish on Howell. But honestly, I don't love either of them. But I'm very anti-Corral.
Interesting. All right. I think I'm going to start taking more Howell because I've been taking Corral because it seemed like maybe his draft position was a little bit more likely to fall, well for him. But
what do you think about Pickett? Was he legit this year? I mean, his numbers were legit.
Pickett was an absolute stud. So I'm going to literally answer a question with the question. The hand size and measurables and all that. How do you guys view that with a quarterback? Because Pickett was 100%
gotta throw it in the pot, and that's an extreme outcome. I'm serious though. Like that's one where I'm like, I'm not gonna ignore that. That's a really extreme number. It's not. Nothing.
I mean, I have bigger hands than Kenny Pickett does.
I do too. I measured.
I'm 5'11".
My hands are bigger than this. Like what?
So I didn't measure my hands, but.
He was in my opinion, he was the best quarterback in this class.
Thorman did, and I have a tape right here, so I measured him.
Jesus Christ!
Because Thorman put a picture on the timeline. I was like,
"Can you measure mine?"
Yeah.
Can you measure mine, Gretch?
Put it up to the screen, please.
11 inches.
Wow, that's some Sky Moore hands right there. Sky Moore has the largest hands in the class. Can you believe that?
But so you think Pickett's good, other than if the hand size is an issue?
I think Pickett is that's my Bailey Zappi take. Pickett is like a good football player.
I'm like 9'5".
He's just a good football player. He also runs enough. Like Corral and Howell and Willis are getting the running quarterback label. Pickett will run. He's not a runner, but he will run. It's kind of like Burrow does now.
Yeah. Travis May compared him to Burrow in that way.
Yeah. He will run. He's not a runner, but he will run. And I just think he's a better football player. Take that for whatever it's worth.
I think it's kind of.
I've been challenged by Daigle here. Daigle says I have smaller hands than Pickett. So okay, I'll be right back.
He's literally gonna go measure his hair.
I love that we started reading off the team and we got through the quarterbacks and that was it.
And we made it into Matt Corral. We're on the third player of our team, and the next thing you know, Pat is measuring his.
We had another Bailey Zappi reference before we got to Jonathan Taylor.
Listen, go watch Bailey Zappi. I'm telling you, I've done like 12 of these Superflex drafts. I think I've taken Bailey Zappi 3 times. And if he gets drafted in the right spot, he could be one of the Davis Mills. Like how Davis Mills was starting for the shitty team later in the year. That's what he can be. And I think he's better than he absolutely is better.
If the Seahawks decide they're going to take another toolsy edge at 9 and then take him in the 3rd round, he could be their starter by week 6.
He'll be starting later, and he's better than Davis Mills in my opinion.
How do you measure your hands? What's the appropriate?
Thorman did it on the table and put like his pinky at the 0, and so that's how I was doing it. And I was doing it in the air, and I was getting a smaller number. So I think you are supposed to lay it on the table.
Oh, it's got to be on the. That's what she said.
So you lay your hand on the table.
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
You lay the tape measure down, and then you lay your hand on top of the tape measure. Line up the end and reach your thumb as far as you can. We can't read it.
It's what this to be legit for Daigle. It looks like about 9-inch hands there.
Nine and a little change.
Nine and a little change. There you go. I got Joe Burrow hands, okay?
That'll work.
Joe Burrow, not Kenny Pickett, to be clear.
I got Super Bowl appearing hands there. Daigle's probably got little 7.5-inch hands. That's why it's got to come at me. Little baby hands, Brandon Allen hands.
Brandon.
All right, Pat, you got through the QBs. Who's the rest of our team?
Yeah, I don't even know who we drafted.
We got sidetracked after reading those QBs.
Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Rashad White, Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon, Eno Benjamin. That feels pretty good.
That's a fun. Okay, we've got past the horrible part of our team and into the good part of it.
That's a good part.
I'm a little shook from the quarterbacks. A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, William Fuller, Julio Jones, and that's all of our wide receivers.
Yeah.
Well there. You literally drafted Julio Jones, and I can't even get a Robbie Anderson. Like, how is that a fucking real thing? Please.
because Leone gave up on Robbie Anderson. That's how dusty he was. The Leone finally stopped playing him in DFS. And
then
I think he was still playing Julio Jones. So,
and then if I remember correctly, Robbie finally had a big game. So
that's true. Actually, Robbie, I believe, won someone $1 million.
Yes, that's correct. He was on the Millie Maker winning team.
Yeah, that's true. All right. We also took Robbie Anderson, which is a good pick that Eric talks about too. And then Darren Waller and Kylan Granson to pair with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to the Colts. Let's go.
This is a fun team. It's not our best team, but we're new to the format. I think it's a fun team.
So it's the quarterback thing, but the quarterback thing is like, this is how you should honestly feel about your team. It doesn't have to be how you feel about it at quarterback after the draft, but you should feel about your team like you run through a position or something about your team and you're like, fuck, that's terrible. You end your team and you're like, that's bad. Because
we knew when the QBs when freaking Malik Wilson went in the 5th round or whatever, like, I mean, we did take Fields, but we were saying we're going to have to hit at QB. The rest of it, we're going to be loaded. We're not going to feel like we had to get a ton right necessarily because we have a lot of good players at those spots. I mean, I honestly feel like we could have been deeper at running back and receiver than we even wound up being. Right. But
he took Jimmy. It's because he took Jimmy fucking G in the 9th round.
Wait. Jimmy G's the only viable quarterback too on this team.
That's our best pick.
Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky was available. We could have taken.
Pat, they want to see the full board. View the full.
Oh yeah.
Casey just wants to admire his own team. He's hoping that we'll look at his team. I think he was in the 1 slot.
He feels good about it. This is a good Twitter screenshot team for Casey, so he feels like we need to look at it.
I went to view full draft. What the?
Yo, what just happened?
View full draft. That's all I got.
I don't know. Info. What if you click info? Oh yeah, you can click Casey's team.
Yeah, we can review individual teams. I don't appear to be able to pull up the draft board.
Oh well, yeah, he had the 101.
The Daniel Jones pick. I mean, Mitch Trubisky's backup isn't probably going to get you that many points.
Yeah, wow. This team needs to get sauced at QB. I mean, and this is coming from our team.
You can't be weak at QB in this format. You just can't. This is Superflex, right? This would be fine.
But seriously, if you're only going to take,
it'd be fine. If this is a regular big board team, it'd be fine. But this is Superflex, Casey. You got to check the rules, man.
If you're going to only take 3. One of them can't be Daniel Jones. That's my rule.
That's right.
I mean,
Jesus. Casey.
on the positive side of things,
I may have gone over the sauce level that Casey requested. In fact, he never even requested sauce. I think he just asked to see the full board.
I said mild.
I'm sorry.
He literally did not request viewing his team.
No,
this is just what happened.
I mean, you probably should have drafted a Superflex team, but
but the real problem is that he drafted at the 49th pick overall, the backup quarterback for the New York Giants, which is pretty goddamn impressive.
Let's see the rest of his team. Let's give him a compliment now. I feel bad.
Well, it starts with Josh Jacobs, so I mean that might be hard to do.
All right, go to the receivers. Keep going.
The running backs are a tough team. Does he know that Kyron? Dude, I could beat Kyron Williams in a race, and that's his QB or running back 3 or 4. Sorry.
Now, how much are you factoring that in with Williams? Because I would like to still take Williams if he's going to go real cheap. You know, like I loved his profile. I loved his profile.
I know.
Does he have like Kelsey and Kittle? Are there other good players at tight end that we haven't?
Where are the good players, KZ? We're waiting.
Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs are pretty good.
Okay, he has Jameson Williams. We're good.
Yeah. Did he tear his ACL or something? I can't remember. Mike Gesicki and Pat Fryermuth.
All right, that's pretty good mid-round tight end.
It's fine. It just took. We had to get to receiver for.
I tell you what. This does make me feel better about pushing it at quarterback.
It's tough.
You see what normal teams look like. He got Josh fucking Allen, and you see how hard it is to make a team even around Josh Allen.
Where did Tua go?
Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs in a league where you only have to start 2 wide receivers. I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
But Robert Woods as the wide receiver 3.
I know, Eric. We already sauced him. We didn't ask for it.
Sorry, Casey. I love you, Casey.
To a Daniel Jones turn.
But I completely.
Can you do Josh? Do your research. Josh didn't ask to
get ready. I don't care if you.
He sniped us at every goddamn turn.
Yeah. Desmond Ritter's going in day 3. Marcus Mariota's not starting for anyone. Sam Howell sucks. We've been over this. You got 1 QB. Congrats.
Dude, and Russ. I mean, Russ has struggled since mid 2020.
Yeah,
struggle city, dude. He struggled so hard that his team gave up on him. Pete Carroll, a Super Bowl winning coach, didn't even want him anymore, dude. This is rough at quarterback. Rough.
That was excellent work.
All right, moving to running back.
I don't even know who Kevin Harris is, which is saucy myself.
I literally don't. Yeah.
South Carolina. He's a modern.
That's too generic of a name for me to remember at this stage of the offseason.
I don't get it. Some of these guys have been taking care of Kevin Harris, and I literally don't get it. He was like Jerome Bettis in the SEC. Just like
it's not a deep running back class.
Brutal.
It really is not.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
His running backs are good though. The rest of
his running backs are good. Isaiah Spiller's a great pick. 138. I mean, geez.
So let's keep going down so we can make fun of something else.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson. Mike Williams is
Hunter Renfro's your third receiver.
He loves Renfro. I know Josh. He
Renfro. Got Wilson with both Sutton and Tim Patrick. That's pretty smart.
Renfro's actually not even that bad of a pick there.
No.
He's
literally
actually been awesome in yards per out run. Awesome.
Josh is the person who has literally convinced me on Renfro. We came into the offseason and I was like, I'm not. Are you kidding me? I'm not drafting Hunter Renfro in the 6th round. And he actually was the one who started to convince me that he made sense.
I think he's a fine pick. Yeah.
Yep.
Jefferson
and Patrick, I wasn't in on, but I gotta come around now. I think
this is a good receiver for. I think Williams is a little bit high.
What do you think about Patrick versus Hamler?
I like Hamler better.
I like Hamler better too, but I could definitely see Tim Patrick be like sort of like a Jermaine Kearse where he plays over his head just because he's playing with Russell Wilson.
I think you should split him if you're from a best ball exposure perspective. Like I prefer KJ Hamler if you want to go a little bit higher on him because you think he has more upside. But like, who are we to say how the Broncos are going to deploy these 4 guys? You know what I mean? Like if they want Judy in the slot, which is what they have done, If they
Handler
want
might not
Judy
play
in
a
this,
lot. Yeah.
Handler might. I mean, I
Oh,
think
he got
has-
Albert O with that.
Dude, this team's sick.
That's
I'm
sick.
sorry. I know we're supposed
That
to
team's
sauce it,
better
but
than our team.
Pitts and O,
That's
and
sick.
then Jalen Tolbert is an awesome.
I love
late
Tolbert.
pick.
I love Tolbert.
Awesome.
This is a great team. This is
the team that left the good players for tight end. I was not prepared for you to scroll down and show me Pitts and Albert O behind door number 4.
Let's scroll back up to quarterback.
Yeah.
Which is just a mess,
No,
guys.
The only way. Do not scroll down because everything else is great.
Dude, everything else is fucking loaded, and if he hits on one of these quarterbacks, we're screwed. But he won't.
Wait till Marcus Mariota is starting for the.
All right, these guys want to review Corbin and Bitcoin
Corbin would
Sherpa.
like
I
to
wonder
review.
who's Corbin.
I'm hoping his name.
Go
I
to
hope your
Bitcoin
name's
Sherpa.
Corbin. Yeah.
Welshire.
Welshire,
No,
the last
no.
one. Okay.
Oh, Welshire.
Last one.
All right,
We
we'll
got
get back to that. in a
Tannehill, Willis, Hill,
No,
Heineke.
we're on. This is Bitcoin.
He also
Sherpa.
asked for it too. In the chat, Taysom Hill at 131, 47 picks above his ADP.
Yeah.
Oof.
His mentor is out of the league now, so I don't think that's gonna do
About
it.
that.
Does he know that Carson
The
Wentz
dude that he has
just got traded to the Commanders?
Where are you at on Malik Willis? Because I feel like doesn't he carry some of that Trey Lance risk that he might sit the whole year?
Yes.
Plus, we don't know for sure where he got drafted.
100%. Why does he not
Yeah.
carry? He's a worse prospect than Trey Lance.
Yeah, so Tannehill's your only quarterback. That's not very good. Let's keep rolling.
Well, but Tannehill was in the thumbnail, which people were very nice about the
That's
thumbnail.
true.
As everyone knows, I had to make the thumbnail this week, and the reviews are pretty good. So
I
maybe
mean,
maybe it was an homage to my thumbnail.
In all seriousness, Taysom Hill and Taylor Heineke are going to combine for like 20 points this whole year.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about that. I'm
Not
sorry.
even like being an asshole saucing.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
rough.
think Taysom Hill and Taylor Heineke is how you want to round out your quarterback group, personally.
And this guy's touting Bale and Zappy, so
Exactly.
All right.
It's not even his
How
name.
Hey,
Balin?
it's not Balin.
Sorry.
Bailey.
Zappy.
Put some
What is it,
respect
Bailey?
on that. Put some
Those are
respect
good
on
running
his name.
backs. I'm fine with all those at those prices. CEH is a fine price right now. You
Good
mentioned
great
Henderson
running backs.
stuff. We were
Great running
in on
backs.
McKinnon.
Yeah, this is a really good running back core.
That's a real good running back core, actually. Yeah, I really like that.
No comment.
Chase and Waddle at the top of receiver. Ooh, Metcalf.
Ooh,
Ooh, Amari Rondell. George
Wow.
Pickens.
This is pretty damn good.
these
Yeah,
tight ends
Odell.
must be shitty. These
David
tight ends
Bell.
got to be shitty.
Although
'cause
Odell, that's such a late ACL tear, but
Yeah, it's tough.
David
with
Bell
Odell.
is also, I mean, he's getting dinged for his athleticism, and rightly so. I mean, it's a concern. I think he'll probably fall to the third round, but like Jarvis Landry's athleticism sucked. You can be all right.
Bell
Calvin
could be
Ridley's
good.
athleticism sucked. Like he wasn't. The scouts weren't talking about him as like this explosive athlete. He's more about.
if you watch David Bell play, you were never like, holy shit, this guy's
Right.
an unreal athlete. You were just like,
Right.
he's really good at football.
Exactly.
So,
Who are his
Exactly.
tight
So it
ends
doesn't
here?
undermine like the perception of him, I think,
Yep.
in a major
Yeah.
way. Like
Yep.
Traylon Burks' athleticism is probably more important because when you watch him, you're like, "Whoa, this guy's
Yeah.
more explosive."
right.
Um,
Right. They're throwing him screens. they're
David
throwing him
Bell's the
deep
Keenan
shots.
Allen mold.
Yeah,
If
he's a
just
Keenan
that
Allen mold that
productive,
Jarvis
he can be that, he
Landry
could
is.
potentially be that productive in the press.
Love a good.
I think he
Keenan
reminds me a
Allen
bit
comp.
of Allen
Love a
Robinson,
good
but
Keenan Allen comp.
he doesn't have the jumps of Robinson.
Yeah,
but-
Knox and Arnold's not very good. Yeah, you kind of just punted on QB and tight end, but real good running backs and receivers. Love
running
the
backs
running
and
backs and
receivers.
receivers. If only the quarterbacks and tight ends could have been good too.
Did you know it was Superflex?
Were you
Other
I
aware?
mean,
than that.
did you know that there's a reduced amount of running backs and wide receivers and the tight ends more? Because that's also, I think, one of the key.
You literally punted the two most
At
important.
the very
positions.
bottom, Pat.
I hate to go back to Josh's team, but to get the Kyle Pitts Albert O,
That's
it's pretty
sexy.
good. When your quarterback room is as bad as this, you need to have a good tight end, but still,
mean,
it's pretty good.
We need
know,
Pete
like-
here to bonk on the rosterbation horn because Pat's way too excited about
No,
Josh's team.
I'm not. No, I'm not
Literally-
because he didn't draft a single starting quarterback. But
Okay. Yes.
That's true.
Not even Russell Wilson. He's
well, I mean, come on, well, we'll see. We'll see.
We've
for the group
established
player.
that Russ is washed. Russ is washed.
We'll see.
Pat,
They're gonna
it's
obviously.
very-
He's a bridge quarterback. They're gonna draft someone.
He's a bridge. Right?
the very bottom team. Pat wants us to
The bottom
sauce it.
team. Okay, I keep looking
Welsh
for it.
here. Yes.
Corbin, yeah.
Dak, Lance, Lawrence, Mills. Okay,
Oh.
we got a good quarterback.
Now we're
Let's see how
talking.
bad it was
Lord.
everywhere else.
Those are
Oh,
some
Kareem
zero
quarterbacks.
RB.
Patterson,
Ooh,
Hines,
okay, huh?
Drake. Keyshawn's pretty good.
Sony.
That's pretty
Chris
good.
Evans.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fun.
You could
0
be okay
RB
here,
build.
right? This team
You're-
could be okay.
You're really
the
not
big
going to
reveal.
score a lot of running back points, but other than that, it's good so far.
Big reveal. Did he get good wide receivers? CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Rashad Bateman, Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones.
Okay, this is a pretty well executed 0 RB.
I feel like it's
I
pretty
like
solid.
Because he
Pretty
has,
solid.
hold on, he has Dak and he has Lawrence, right? What are his
Yep.
quarterbacks again?
Yeah.
Can you scroll up?
Dak,
Dak,
Lawrence.
Trey Lance, Lawrence Mills.
Yeah, so he's stacked Dak, he's stacked Lawrence. I don't know about Lance and Mills, but
Who's he got at tight end at the bottom? I saw Dalton
got
Schultz.
Dalton
as well.
Schultz.
Double
Oh.
stacked Dak.
I like
Irv.
it.
I
Pretty
would
good
say only 7 receivers here, and how many running backs did he go with? I think I would have liked another receiver with that receiving core.
Yeah, but he
the
kind of
running
had
backs
to
are
with the
bad.
running backs, right? The running backs are really
Yeah.
bad. Plus, you can
Well,
only do
7,
the 2
7,
wide
2.
receivers. The 2 in a flex. But
I like this team.
This
Yeah,
is a
it's
good
a pretty
team.
good
This is
team,
a
I
good
think.
way to execute 0 RB.
yeah, and this is a quarterback heavy team, right? So so what do you do? I think I'm skipping.
I would
the
not
Lawrence
take
pick.
Mills.
Or you'd skip the Mills pick.
Either Lawrence or Mills. One of the two, I feel like is you can still take 4, but man, you look at those running backs and like he has the worst running backs in the whole league, and the wide receivers aren't that good either, right? And honestly, the tight ends are fine, but not that good. And so
Those receivers are good. I like
One-
I mean,
but
CD's
one
good.
one
Deontay
swap
Moore.
somewhere, one swap somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's
One
Lawrence
more good
to,
receiver.
right? We took Jimmy. You
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
hate Jimmy, but like you swap Lawrence to Jimmy and then take a 4th round wide receiver. Or
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like
That's
that.
probably it. That's
Or
probably
even
a
like
QB too.
even in that you could have gotten an Aaron Jones and then
right, Aaron
you don't have
Jones
to just-
and Trubisky or Jimmy or Howell or Pickett or whatever.
I think the
versus-
running backs are fine, dude. I am fine with Kareem Hunt at RB1. I don't really like Patterson as RB2. I don't really like Drake. Like the specific players aren't necessarily my favorite,
but the structure.
I'm fine with Hunt at 132 as your first running back. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's
I
more
think
about
then-
because you could have taken it was Lawrence and CD right next to each other, so you get another. I mean, maybe you get like a T Higgins or something instead of Lawrence. That'd be pretty sweet.
Or tight end.
Or tight
Or-
end. Great
like-
point. Great.
Or
point,
you take the elite tight end, right? And I like Schultz and Irv fine, but they're not one of the elite.
Structurally, this is close to what I think
This is
I would
good.
do a lot of, especially out of the 12
Yeah.
slot. I really like this QB out of the 12 slot, Dak and Lance. Like, just get 2 of them. If you're in the back, one of the big advantages you can do in Superflex, this is something Sean told me like years ago, and I've seen him do it. If you're at 12, like hit 2 quarterbacks, then your QB2 spot can be a differentiator.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Only difference I'm going to throw out for that in this contest is sometimes like 10 quarterbacks have gone. And
Yeah.
you're
It's
deciding
tough. Yeah.
you're deciding between he got Dak and Trey Lance. You're deciding between Dak
Jalen Hurts.
and Dak and Jamar Chase, Dak and Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
You know, so it's this contest is so crazy. The QB ADP is just so crazy that it's a tough thing at the turn.
But I mean, at the 3-4, all he had left was Lawrence. So it's kind of like, you know, he went there and then he kind of. But you guys already could have even not taken Lawrence after he started QB, and then
I think that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Dak and Trey Lance is fine, but then I probably
go
wouldn't
away
have
from
taken
it.
Lawrence.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need that third QB. You mentioned that right away when we started. 3 QBs in the first 4 rounds. I don't think you need to do. You can only start
Because-
2 in a given week.
Because he got Mills at pick 108 and
Yeah.
took Lawrence at pick 37. You know, and so that
You could have
gap-
taken Mills and then Fitzpatrick, and you would have been just golden.
or one of the rookies, right?
Beimfohr's like, we've convinced him that Fitzpatrick's a good pick. He
God,
nodded.
you fucking snuck that in, and I wasn't even listening to you. That's how much pay. We've done so many shows together, and so this is how Ben and I's Sunday morning DFS shows. He just is talking, and I'm just waiting for him to finish, and so I'm not even thinking, I'm not even thinking about what he's saying, and I'm just like, yeah. So what do you think about this? And that was literally what just. That was
Yeah, I was like, I
literally-
just said that.
That was literally what just happened. He was like, yeah, and you take Fitzpatrick. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But that was if you're tuning in, rotogrinders.com/premium, that's the kind of content you're going to get, is me literally not listening to Ben on Sunday mornings.
All right. We hit 2 hours. This was a fun stream.
Yeah, let's close it out. Gretch, what do we got on the Omni calendar? What should the people be watching?
We had the UCL these last 2 days. The next two are next Tuesday and Wednesday, same time slots. That'll be the rest of the round of 16. Between then and now, we have the first golf tournament. So a lot of people ask me about how golf scored. It's an aggregate of the 4 majors plus the players, which is like, it's often referred to as the 5th major. So we throw it in there. It's a fun one to kick off the golf calendar. So the winner of that will start to gain points. The way the PGA scoring works is like it's the best overall finish over those 5 tournaments. So you won't get any official on fantasy points from that. But like if your guy wins that tournament this weekend, the Players Championship, you're going to be in a great spot. He's probably going to have locked up some points for the on fantasy season overall by winning one of the 5 tournaments. So that's a fun one to watch. And then, the rest of the UCL, and then March Madness starts next Thursday. So we start hot and heavy, which is kind of the fun thing about it. These first 4 months, we have several tournaments. I mean, we'll have NHL coming, and we'll have NBA coming. Their playoffs will start in about a month. The whole college basketball season will be done, a month from now, because it's 3 weekends. They do the entire thing. And then UCL Champions League will be done by then. Last year we had Euro in the early summer, but this year with World Cup, that's not till November and December. So there's a little bit of a pushback there. We'll have some tennis events coming up. Yeah, these first few months are fun.
Nice. All right, Eric, what do you got for us?
Not a lot. Best ball season apparently never ends, or there's no start and finish to best ball season. We are literally drafting NBA playoff best ball. MLB best ball has launched, and we don't even know when the season is going to start. It's absolutely crazy. So just head over to spikeweek.com. My main recommendation is hop in the Discord. I mentioned it a couple times on this stream. It's 100% free, and there's tons of people, including people that were in this draft. Shout out Josh Bringle, who sniped us at every possible turn of this draft, are in there just talking tons of strategy, NFL, NBA, MLB. If you want to talk something non-best ball related, there's people there for that too. And it is my favorite resource. Obviously, I'm biased for talking about all this different stuff, including the Superflex draft that we did. So that's my big thing is the Spike Week Discord.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Make sure to check out that podcast I was talking about with Davis, Amico, and Friedman. I'm super excited to talk about the wide receiver class in depth tomorrow. But otherwise, we'll see you guys next week.